If you've ever discovered a new cologne or perfume and you have been absolutely blown away by it, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks, and welcome back to the post-Christmas edition of Benzinga's pre-market playbook. Tell you what, it seems awfully quiet out there on the Western Front, but we are going to go through the little bit of news that's there, get you prepared here for the day. We are technically in the Santa Claus rally time frame, so perhaps we keep pushing up here. Futures are actually up off of the morning lows, so green and red all abound despite Christmas being yesterday. We are going to wrap the week up strong here today. With the little bit of news that's going on, it's going to be more of a party holiday like atmosphere around here today. No Mark Petrino as he is busy today, but we're going to bring on Kev. We're going to bring on 13. We're going to make sure that y'all have a good Friday here. I hope everyone's holiday was awesome. We're going to go ahead and finish the week off strong. Benzinga's pre-market playbook, the Friday edition for December 26th, 2025, begins right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. I hope that you all had a wonderful Christmas holiday. We are back here to finish off the week. And I got to say, it does seem like Santa and everybody else probably overdid it on some cookies and eggnog, maybe some turkey or some ham or something in there. Definitely feels a little bit slow here today. And I would imagine that's going to carry through here to the rest of the day. So don't think we're going to have like an incredibly busy session here with a ton of stuff going on, but we should still be able to find out what's moving here today. Nice to see a whole bunch of returning faces. Day trader is first here. The guy on the West Coast is first. How about that? Might be a reason for that. Ed, good morning. Welcome back. Matthew, good morning. Welcome back. Neville, good morning. Welcome back. And yeah, producer here saying, sorry, we got the stream up late today. So that might be why we have a little bit of a truncated crowd in addition to just how slow everything is out there. Carlos, good morning. Hopefully your Christmas was good. Day trader says, like always, I missed the first 10 seconds of what you said. He goes on to say, hopefully your new format includes an intro bumper. Producer, we might need to think about that. Maybe like a quick 10-second intro bumper, then we get on, something like that. Well, we should figure out exactly how that works. And it also might be different if you watch the replay than if you join live. Day trader, maybe a countdown is something that we should do. That would give me some time to prepare, maybe fix my hair a little bit. We got some ideas. That's really good feedback. Producers on it. Day trader, appreciate you as always. H&H Tactical, good morning. Hopefully you are well. Tyler, good morning. And go Bills. I am very excited for this weekend. I'm ready for some more football. I'm ready for some time off. So it's really good. I hope your Bills are able to get that win. Angelito, good morning. Good to see you again. Welcome back. Peter, good morning. Welcome back. Smita, it's great to see you again as well. Good morning. Francis, good morning. Zach McCracken, thought the hangover got the better of Benzinga. No. See, here's the thing, Zach. We're addicted to the market. So through technological problems, through slow days, through holidays, you can't slow us down. We're going to be around here. We forgot to list the stream. We're still here. We're still popping off, even brought more people for you here today. So you found the right spot. Folks addicted to the market, that's us. Jay Harris, good morning. Welcome back. Suprik, good morning. Welcome back. It's good to see you. Robot, welcome back. Jim, welcome back. Scarlett, good morning. Dirkus, good morning. Hope your Christmas was good. It absolutely was. It absolutely was. I'm looking forward to picking back up the holiday here this weekend. Sean B says, in the house from Rome. What a Christmas present. Traveling to Rome. Sean, that is amazing. And you're still making it here on Friday? Heart, baby. Heart. We appreciate that, of course. Kelly, for you, good morning. Welcome back. RKDK, good morning. Good to see you. GB Slice, good morning from Vienna. All right. Frank Putnam, go Niners. Frank, it's you versus me here this weekend. I'll tell you what, that Sunday night game, that's going to be the game of the week. But I'll take the other side of that. Go Bears. Day trader confirming, yeah, it's only a live thing. Okay, so That's interesting. So even because I've actually gone back and watched some of the replays and I've seen that too, but countdown seems like that fixes everything. Producer knows exactly what to do. Pretty Panda, good morning. Merry Christmas from Norway. I love how much travel and how we have people from all over the globe here. That is absolutely awesome. Bob, good morning. It's great to see you again. No kings. But I appreciate it. Good morning. All right, folks, let's go ahead and get started with our stock market today. All right, futures under slight pressure here the day after Christmas for Friday, December 26th, although they are up off of the lows and very close to unchanged. S&P futures are actually down 0.02%. Dow futures are down 0.09%. And the NASDAQ actually turned green. That's higher by 0.05%. So initially, when we started the pre-market here today, all of the indices were down very, very slightly on very, very light volume. They appear as if they've come up off the lows. The NASDAQ, the first to go red to green here. Let's take a look at some cues from last session. Consumer staples, real estate, and utility stocks recorded the biggest gains on the half day on Wednesday, while energy stocks bucked the trend to close lower. That's notable because a lot of us suspect energy is actually going to be a theme in 2026. The New York Stock Exchange closed early at 1 p.m. on Wednesday and remained closed yesterday for the Christmas holiday. On the economic data front, the U.S. initial jobless claims declined by 10,000 from the previous week to 214,000 in the week ending December 20th, compared to market estimates of 223,000. Meanwhile, the 10-year Treasury bond yielded 4.15%, and the 2-year bond was at 3.51%. Now, we have several stocks in focus here for you today as we close the year out. First one here is going to be NVIDIA, ticker NVDA. Shares rose 0.58% after it announced a non-exclusive licensing agreement with AI chip startup Grok. That's GROQ, not GROK, which you might know from Twitter or X. Grok, GROQ, which was founded in 2016. Grok has entered a non-exclusive licensing agreement with NVIDIA covering its inference technology. So some more partnership there for AI. The next stock on our list here is going to be Dynavax, and this is a carryover from Wednesday. Ticker DVAX. Shares surged 38.19% following Sanofi's announcement to acquire the vaccine company. So once again, no trade here, but if you were holding DVAX, your time has come because that premium has been paid and the stock is up and higher on that takeout. The next stock on our list here is going to be Sober Safe. This is one of our smaller movers. The ticker is SOBR. It dropped 15.61% after announcing definitive agreements to issue 1.29 million shares of common stock at $155 per share and associated warrants in a private placement. See if that can catch any type of bounce here today. The next stock is going to be Davis Commodities. The ticker on this one is DTCK, and shares jumped 7.19% after reporting revenue of $95 million for the first 6 months that ended June 30th. That was up 42.1% from the $66.9 million a year earlier, according to the company's statement. The last stock on our list here is going to be Biohaven, and the ticker on this one is BHVN. Shares slumped 14+% after it disclosed that its phase 2 proof of concept study for BHV 7000 in major depressive order failed to meet its primary endpoint. Next step here on BHVN would be to check what else this company has in its pipeline. But on the back of this news here, we are trading lower. All right, let's take a look at the SPY. Let's see where we sit and where we might go today. Let's get you some of those key levels. Jerry, if you're out there, I haven't seen you here this morning. We might also take a look at the cues here real quick for you. Worst case scenario, when we bring on Kev and 13, I'm sure we'll take a look at all of the indices. We'll try and give you a collection. of those key levels there. From anyone that I missed here, joining us late here, first of all, thank you for joining us after your Christmas. I hope that your holiday was excellent. Live to trade. Sandra, Russ, Victor, good morning. It's great to see you here. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all of you. Now, the SPY here, this is just absolutely amazing. We are actually set to make a new all-time high if we open here. Remember, the two key levels that we were looking at pretty much all of last week as we were anticipating and watching to see if we actually had a Santa Claus rally were going to be some of the recent highs. And that first one there was at 689.25. The actual all-time high in the regular session was at 689.70. SPY here is at 690.38. So we are actually set to open up at yet another all-time high. We'll see if we end up getting that here today. And we'll see if we continue to push higher. So the Santa Claus rally started on Wednesday. Today would be day 2 of that. We'll see if we continue to push higher here. One of the other things to look at, I don't know that we're necessarily going to have the volume to do this, but one other thing that I might do here is take this channel and extend it a little bit just to see. There we go. Looks like I kept the trajectory the same. I'm going to extend this channel a little bit on the daily chart because I want to see if the Santa rally has enough juice to take us back into that channel. If it does, this could actually give us some more idea of some key levels here and could also give us an idea of when we're actually going to break trend. So if you're one of the traders that's kind of waiting for a down move here and you think we might get that early in the year, well, I'll tell you what, the Santa Claus rally could actually help set that trade setup up. We trade back into this channel. That could give us some ideas of when that trend might change and where some of those support levels might break. So several more days left here in the Santa rally. If we have a low volume drift higher, maybe we either bounce off the bottom of this channel or actually enter that channel and then set up the next possible down move. So I'll go ahead and extend that there a little bit. See some more folks filing in here. Crankbait, good morning. Hope that you had a good Christmas. Glenn, good morning. Hi ho, Silver Way. Indeed, we could take a look at silver here before we dive into some more of the news there as well. Lion Atlas, good morning. My Christmas was great. Hopefully you and yours was as well. And Minister says, NVIDIA is giving me mixed emotions. Minister, you are not alone in that. There are plenty of folks that have mixed emotions about NVIDIA, and I think it is warranted. Do we continue to see a sell-off in mega cap tech? If so, I don't think NVIDIA is going to be immune to that. On the flip side, it's clearly your AI leader, and AI is clearly going to be a huge theme in 2026. So definitely seems like there's some back and forth there. I'd be curious to know what your gut tells you, right? What does your gut tell you about what happens next here? On all of that. Okay, let's roll through some of the news here so we can get the party started. Let's go back here and take a look at some insights from analysts. Despite the S&P 500 hitting all-time highs, University of Michigan economist Justin Wolfers argues the celebration is misplaced, criticizing the media's fixation on record stock numbers as economic literacy. Wolfers pointed out that while U.S. markets are up roughly 18%, they are significantly lagged behind the rest of the world. Quote, global markets have risen by 30% over the past year, end quote. He went on to say, we've underperformed the global market by 12%, end quote. Now, I'm going to pause right here because I know Tim Melvin's not joining us here. And I know some folks that join our show say, this guy's boring or he's always crabby. None of that could be further from the truth. And if you think back on what Tim has been telling us for months and months, some of the stocks that he's been looking at, some of the picks he's been giving us, they haven't been U.S. companies. And in fact, they've been part of this global markets that seem to outperform. So this is just another opportunity to say there are folks that have a lot of experience in this, and they do some things that are maybe not traditional. But those end up working. So a big time hat tip to Tim Melvin, who was ahead of what we're seeing here by what feels like months. And I'll follow up with him the next time we have him on here. Wolfers goes on to characterize the year as miserable for American investors when benchmarked against international peers. It appears that Wolfers didn't talk to anybody that had AI names like NVIDIA or Palantir or any of the like, or any of the drone names. Am I right, folks? Anyway. Only a clown would say that about Tim Melvin. I just go by what I see and what I hear out there. My life has turned into a lot of taking some comments with a grain of salt and, frankly, just discarding others. The good news here is that Tim's experience and his connections, they've proven over and over again to work. So I will keep bringing you back a diversified viewpoint here on stocks and investment opportunities, and Tim Melvin plays a gigantic part of that. And I appreciate the comments, and I'm sure Tim would appreciate that too if he was here. I'm sure he's busy celebrating the holidays with his grandchildren, so we won't bother him. Wolfers also warned against trusting noisy economic data, highlighting a disconnect between the surging GDP and stalling job creation. While GDP grew over 4%, a more nuanced measure, gross domestic income, or GDI, showed only a 2.4% growth. Quote, employment growth has plummeted, Wolfers observed, suggesting that the economy may have created as few as 0 jobs recently. He cautioned the early data often tells conflicting stories, concluding that the first draft of history is messy. It appears that this Wolfers folk did not have the greatest holiday and appears to be a bit crabby. But again, we'll take it all. We'll see what ends up happening here. Good news, no data scheduled here for today, so there should be no surprises. We'll be able to reassess next week and in the new year. We do have some news here on the AI front and the chip front. Samsung is going to unveil its first in-house GPU for XIII 2600. I'm probably pronouncing that incorrectly. Cool word, though, I suppose. It's preparing to debut its first in-house mobile graphics processing unit, which marks a key shift in its semiconductor strategy. The move signals Samsung's efforts to gain tighter control over core smartphone components and reduce long-term dependence on external chip architectures. That seems to be a growing theme as well. The new GPU will be integrated into Samsung's next-generation Exynos 2600 mobile application processor, which is expected to power modules of the upcoming Galaxy 26 smartphone series. The chip is set for release in early 2026, the Korea Herald reported on Friday, citing industry sources. Samsung engineers designed the GPU layout while the underlying architecture remains licensed from AMD. So how about that? AMD, the thing behind the thing in this case. Samsung aims to fully internalize both GPU design and architecture by 2027, adopting a vertically integrated approach similar to Apple. Well. How do you like them apples? Of course, obviously, we've talked a lot. Oops, did I do that? We've talked a lot about Apple and its ecosystem really kind of dominating the market. It would appear that Samsung looks like it's taking a couple of pages out of Apple's book to try and increase their market share and perhaps more vertically integrating what they do with the phone there. Again, I kind of see this as a theme. The Exynos 2600 also introduces new hardware designed to address performance and efficiency gaps seen in earlier Exynos chips. The continued use of AMD architecture underscores the chipmaker's strong position in advanced computing, even as Samsung works towards independence. AMD shares are up more than 78% year to date, driven by a surging demand for AI chips, partnerships with OpenAI and Oracle, and enthusiasm around its products such as the Ryzen 9000 lineup and the MI400 GPUs. Full disclosure, I use a Ryzen 9 series processor in my computer. It's absolutely phenomenal, and I could not be happier with it. Also worth noting, I made an effort to choose that over the Intel counterpart when I actually built the machine. That was several years ago now, just as an aside. Earlier reports indicated AMD dropped its 4-nanometer process orders with Samsung due to yield challenges and US tariff impacts, shifting production to Taiwan Semiconductor's Arizona facility. Meanwhile, Samsung has secured NVIDIA's approval for its HBM3E memory chips. This is the one that's causing all of the prices of DRAM to skyrocket, for use in NVIDIA's B300 AI accelerator and AMD's MI350 platform, though supply is expected to remain limited as rivals were approved earlier. Industry focus is already turning to HBM4 for NVIDIA's next-generation Vera Rubin chips. Also, another update. I know we've just been kind of following the robo-taxi story in general. We've talked a little bit about the Waymo issues that have recently happened out there in California. And we have another one. And I got to say, this might surprise you, but I actually think that this one is a step in the right direction. And I'll cover that here in a sec. Alphabet pauses the service again in San Francisco on Christmas Day. Boy, I hope you didn't have any plans on Christmas Day that required a Waymo, JK. Amid flash flood warnings, robotaxi service Waymo reportedly paused its services again in the San Francisco Bay Area amid flash flood warnings on Christmas Day. In a notification released on the official Waymo app on Thursday, the company issued a statement saying that its services were in the area were unavailable. CNBC reported on Thursday, quote, service temporarily paused due to a National Weather Service flash flood warning, end quote. Now, really quickly here, I actually think that this is good. I am sure that this caused some inconvenience for people, and that sucks, and I'm sorry about that, especially for the individual. But judging what we just saw about the Waymo cars stopping because of a power outage, unable to navigate an intersection without the traffic lights, causing traffic disruptions behind that and everything, I actually think this was pretty smart. And from a larger picture here, very, very clearly, one of the things that these self-driving companies, whether it's Tesla, Waymo, or otherwise, one of the things that they're learning about are these edge cases. It's great when the when the street lights work. It's great when cars can literally drive across the street because they're not covered in water. But what do you do when you have some of these outlier edge cases? And I really think that instead of causing some massive problem on Christmas Day with people trapped, possibly in danger if the car entered a flood area that was unsafe to drive on, I actually think just saying, you know what? We're just not even going to participate in this. I actually think that was the right decision. And I would imagine that the more of these edge cases that come up, the better they can prepare for it. And then the more seamless it will be going forward. That's the glass half full optimistic view. Fingers crossed. We'll see if that's actually how it shakes out. Waymo had earlier also reported a halt in its service in San Francisco as a result of an outage from PG&E substation, which caused several disruptions to traffic signals as well in the city. Following the outage, Waymo issued a statement announcing it had implemented fleet-wide updates to its software to help it better cope with those outages. Again, this is kind of the learning experience, the bleeding edge, if you will, that self-driving has to go through. I don't think that's over. I think we'll see more of this. I think ultimately, if it stops people from being trapped, stranded, hurt, or worse, probably the right decision. The news comes as Tesla's CEO Elon Musk shared that a Tesla robotaxi drove him autonomously around Austin on Saturday, putting the service one step closer to a wider rollout in the service. To a wider rollout of the service in the city. Musk had earlier claimed that driverless operations would commence before the end of the year in Austin. Meanwhile, Ross Gerber of Gerber Kawasaki claimed that the Tesla full self-driving system misinterpreted raindrops on its cameras as debris. What was I just saying about edge cases? Gosh, which caused the software to have trouble operating in rainy conditions. So I know that this has been a kind of a back and forth for a lot of folks, especially Ross here. The technology used in one self-driving versus the technology used in another and how that compares and all of that. Again, I think this is just kind of working through some of the edge cases. I would imagine that after enough of these, the companies are going to learn how to deal with them efficiently. On the other hand, Waymo, which competes with Tesla's robotaxi, recently announced that it had reached 14 million paid robotaxi rides in 2025, also reportedly reaching the 450,000 weekly robotaxi rides milestone. These milestones put the company firmly in the lead of the robotaxi race in the U.S. All right, it would not be a holiday without talking about some holiday travel. And guess what? Holiday travel smashes records again. AAA says 122 million Americans are on the move as gas prices slide and confidence returns. Holiday travel in the United States is poised to shatter records once again, fueled mainly by falling gas prices and a renewed sense of consumer confidence that is driving heavy traffic across the nation's highways. On Thursday, Gary Bohm, the president and CEO of AAA Incorporated, the popular roadside assistance service, said the steady rise in travel since the pandemic shows no signs of slowing. Quote, "We're seeing records every year coming out of the pandemic," end quote. It came again from Bohm. I think they meant Bohm, during his appearance on CNBC's Squawk Box. He expects more than 122 million Americans to travel this season. He said that marks a 2% year-over-year increase for the same period last year. A majority of holiday travelers will be taking to the highways. Bohm said 89% of travelers are driving due to significantly lower fuel costs. Quote, gas prices are at a $2.85 a gallon on average, end quote, which he noted was down from $3 or $4 a year ago. This is something that we have talked about quite a bit here. This is something that I have definitely noticed in my own life. Gas is much cheaper than it was just a handful of years ago. We've talked about gas, really the input into everything else. Fuel being the input to everything else really has helped inflation not spiral and made a lot of the doomsday predictions about inflation's complete and total bunk. And it looks like Americans are actually traveling more because of this. AAA expects intense activity on the nation's roads, with approximately 109 million people traveling by car, and the organization anticipates that it will rescue over 860,000 people on the side of the road during the holiday period. Tell you what, if you've ever gotten stranded on the side of the road during the holidays, I'm sorry. I hope that it wasn't that bad. I can think of few things worse than that, to be quite honest with you. So good on AAA for rescuing those people. Bohm also noted during the segment that air travel, too, was hitting fresh records. It's not just driving, with the industry seeing never-before-seen levels of footfalls during the course of the season without actually mentioning the specific figures. We'll see if we get any more figures out of some of the airline companies. Americans chose to drive this holiday season amidst a steep reduction in the average gas price across the country, while air travel got considerably more expensive during the same period. According to AAA's own report earlier this month, airfares are up 7% year over year, averaging nearly $900, prompting many travelers to opt for road trips instead. Who likes a good road trip out there? Who likes a good road trip? The TSA reported that heavier traveler volume, will be about 2.86 million on Sunday, slightly ahead of the busiest day of the year at 2.85 million. This led major aviation stocks such as American Airlines, ticker AAL, Southwest Airlines, ticker LUV, United Airlines, ticker UAL, and Delta Airlines, ticker DAL, to move marginally higher on Christmas Eve. The U.S. Global Jets ETF, ticker JETS, Jets, which tracks most American airliners, that's up 8.68% this month. The fund scores high on the momentum in Benzinga's Edge stock rankings, easy for me to say, with a favorable price trend in the short, medium, and long term, and a quality momentum score. One more thing that I wanted to talk about here real quick, and then I'll bring you a Grinch story, and then we can take a look at charts here. This one, pretty interesting. Google is rolling out a Gmail address change feature, and this is how it works. Yes, that's right. If you are still working on lskywalker12 at gmail.com from when you were 14 years old, got good news for you. You can change that to something a little bit more professional and less kid-like. Alphabet subsidiary Google, in an unprecedented move, has started allowing users to change their @Gmail addresses, according to an official Google support document. Google states the email address changing feature is rolling out slowly for all users, meaning the option may not be available to everyone at the moment, according to the support page. Tom's Hardware noted the support page appears in Hindi, further suggesting that feature's initial development focused on Indian users. Users with @gmail.com addresses can replace their existing address with a new @gmail.com address. The original addresses automatically become an alternate email, so emails sent to either addresses are received in the same account. All saved account data, including photos, messages, and previously sent emails, remain unaffected. I think this is one of the big blockers there. It's good to see that they plan for that. Users can also use their old email address to log into Google services like Gmail, Maps, YouTube, Google Play, and Drive. While the old Gmail addresses can be reused at any time, the new addresses cannot be used for another Google account for 12 months. Through their Google account settings, users can also check whether their desired @gmail.com address is available. Google did not immediately respond to our request to comment, but we will update that as we move forward here. In December, analysts remained bullish on Alphabet, Citigroup maintained a buy rating with a $350 price target, and JP Morgan reaffirmed overweight with a $385 target, reflecting confidence in Google's growth and advertising revenue resilience. It also seems that y'all folks really like Google, especially as one of the tech stocks here. One of the AI stocks. Google seems to have a pretty big following amongst our group. I still like Google. I think we'll probably trade this again in 2026. Good morning, Born. It's good to see you. Merry Christmas. I hope you and yours had a great one yesterday. You joined right at the right time because now we're going to cover a Grinch story. So Peter Schiff making some news here. Peter Schiff reflects on crypto's Christmas disappointment. Economists say Bitcoin malfunctioned on the launch pad instead of going to the moon. I will say, really good play on words there. But nonetheless, renowned economist Peter Schiff reiterated his longstanding skepticism of Bitcoin on Thursday. Nothing new there. Contrasting the leading cryptocurrency's 2025 slump with the surge in silver prices. In an ex-post, Schiff argued that Bitcoiners had nothing to celebrate this Christmas as the asset failed to deliver on its early 2025 promise. When the year began, hodlers were confident Bitcoin was poised to go to the moon. Instead, it malfunctioned on the launch pad as the precious metals took off. It was the crypto Christmas event that wasn't. Man, oh man. The previous metals advocate stated that selling Bitcoin and buying silver turned out to be the best trade of the year. For anyone that wants Mr. Schiff's victory lap tweets, I will go ahead and drop the story in here. Links to all of those are on here. Bitcoin supporter Stephen Yamada wasn't amused by Schiff's assertion, saying that the best trade in the long-term horizon is to sell silver and buy Bitcoin. While Bitcoin has clearly underperformed silver in 2025, it's worth noting that the apex cryptocurrency fared better on long-term time horizon. Its 5 and 10-year returns well surpass those of the precious metal. Schiff's remark aligned with the previous bearish projections about Bitcoin. Earlier in the week, he declared that the Bitcoin trade is over, not the first time that's happened, arguing that the asset neither rises with tech stocks nor precious metals. Last month, he noted that the apex cryptocurrencies acts as a mirror image of silver, meaning that the higher silver goes, the more Bitcoin crashes. Day trader here reminding us that crypto is still working, though through the 10 of 10 crash fallout. I don't even know what you mean there. Another month or so before that cloud lifts. Sorry, day trader, I don't even know what you're referring to. I apologize. All right. That's it for the news here today. Like I said, it was pretty light out there. I think now we can pretty much go to charts and chart talk here. You can take a look at whatever you folks want to take a look at. I do want to wait for 13 to show up to cover the movers because I'm sure he's going to be looking at that. Also, we'll see if there are any other PRs or news that we get that might move some of those stocks there. But I think we can probably do chart time right now. Why don't we bring on Kev? Let's see how Kev's doing. Let's see how his Christmas was. Kevin, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing really
I'm doing good. It was good. How was your Christmas?
It was really awesome, man. I'm really looking forward to some more time off here, but had a great Christmas as per usual again here today. Look, Kev, we got one more day. What do you want to review here? So I'd be curious. I already gave out some SPY levels. I'd be curious to get yours, but we should probably also take a look at some of the other industries as well. Indices as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Do you guys want to cover the QQQ? Do we want to cover a little silver and gold? I mean, like you just mentioned before, silver is up over 133% year to date right now, right? Gold just passed 70% year to date. We're not talking meme stocks, not talking about crypto, so silver and gold with these massive returns. So if it's all right with you,
Kev. Let's do them all.
Let's do it. Awesome. Let me get my screen share going. And I have SPY up at first. We could take a look at gold as well. Now, something I always like to do, guys. Now, I trade futures, but that's going to be very similar. If you trade gold, would be GLD, but you would be trading it during the New York session. That would be the same as GC. Now, when we trade something like gold, we want to keep an eye on the dollar. Now, the dollar has an inverse correlation to gold. So if we see weakness on the dollar down here, now this is my dollar chart in the bottom left. we see that there's definitely some weakness here on a lower time frame. That's going to help us support longs on gold. So I do have some price targets to the upside that I want to see us start to take out first, and then come look to retest this red zone for a long position. So I do want to stay on a bullish trend on gold here. It's been very bullish for a long time. Really don't want to be fighting that trend either. Let me pull up a bigger chart.
Kevin, let me stop you right there.
Yeah.
This is really good. Lion here says, Kevin, you're too late.
Never.
Now, I know what he's trying to say there. Like you were just saying, you're never too late there. So what I would say is, let's talk about, you kind of touched on it there, but let's talk about possible trade plans here, understanding that the backdrop is that gold has made a huge move already. So I would say, how do you focus on protecting your capital and properly aligning your risk given the move that gold has put in this year?
Great question. And I like the idea too, right? It's like, okay, well, we moved up so much, we have to pull back, right? A lot of new traders have this mindset. We rallied so much, I got to short it now. We have to pull back at some point. But we have to remember too that if we're day traders, we have to be trading with that overall trend. And if we're day trading, we're usually in and out within 5 minutes, an hour. So if that overall trend is still bullish, we're not going to see a reversal that's 600 points all within an hour. Those things are going to show themselves before they happen, right? Because our analysis right here is on the daily. We're still making all-time highs. To try to go short in such a strong trend right now would almost be like shooting yourself in the foot too. Because when you're at a point in the market where you could make a case for both directions, that's when you should really be careful. Right now, the only case I could really make for gold is that it's making higher highs, it's making higher lows. And we also see weakness on the dollar as well. And silver is also another heavy metal that's continuing to push up too. These are all multiple confluences that are giving me that strong bullish bias on gold. So until I see some type of turnaround, I'm going to keep that bias going.
Okay, so it sounds to me like you're basically just going to focus on your entry to make sure that you're at a quality spot there, and then probably have a tight stop in case the trade goes against you. You can always rebuy here. I love the idea of waiting for a push and then waiting for a back test. That's something that's worked for us on other things like earnings plays, and I would suspect the same thing is true here in the metals market. So good stuff on that.
Absolutely. You mentioned SPY earlier. SPY is always the best ones to take a look at, right? SPY, the ES.
Absolutely.
Same situation, right? We're at all-time highs, but what's really moving the SPY at this point is the very high unemployment rate. We see how that came in at 4.6% this month. If it was just 0.1% more, that would have really started to force the Fed into looking into another rate cut in January. We missed that, but still a strong unemployment number. GDP came in very strong. I'm not sure if you saw, there was a article, GDP nowhere near 4.3%. Rosenberg dismisses Q3 report as fugazi. I'm sort of with him on this. To say that the GDP, we're growing, we're strong, when we're still dealing with inflation, we're still dealing with high unemployment. Where is that strength? Where is it coming from? Now, a strong GDP, a high unemployment, these are all things that the Fed could sort of use to gauge, okay, do we want to see another rate cut? Something I like to keep an eye on too is the Fed Watch tool.
I was just going to say, Kev, that's perfect. Go ahead and bring that up. Fed Watch tool tells us we are not cutting in January. I mean, it's be interesting to see how that changes.
Yeah, exactly. So 17% we're looking at right now. For the past few months, we've been looking at steady 70%, 80%. Now we're looking at January 17%. Well, we know that we've been rallying on the SPY due to that Fed rate cut. Odds of a Fed rate cut, we're cutting lower and lower. Well, now that we're seeing a little bit of a shift in that, and we might ease off on the rate cuts, our market's going to continue to push higher, or is the economic data that we're receiving still going to keep us all on edge? Very tough point. What I like to do too when I'm trading the SPY, or again, trading futures, I trade the ES or the MES. I got to keep an eye on the VIX. VIX is a massive, massive indicator of strength, fear, greed. And we see on the VIX right now, we're trading almost below $14. And that's the first time we've traded below 14 since last December, in over a year.
So really earlier this year, those VIX levels that you're highlighting have been extremely important.
Yeah.
Earlier in the year, when we were really pressing highs, it was that 12 to 13 area that really kind of led for the bounce area. More recently, it's been 15 or 14. And you're exactly right. Even on Wednesday, Kev, we printed a low on the VIX of 1338. So we came down to the 14 handle, looked like we were going to maybe sit there, broke lower on Christmas into the 13 handle. Now here we're sitting at 1408 today, but as I had mentioned earlier, S&P and really the rest of the broader market has come up off of some of those lows. So Kev, let me ask you, as far as the VIX goes, I'm not sure what your thoughts are on the Santa Claus rally, so I don't want to overstep here, but if you think that the Santa Claus rally is going to continue here, where do you see the VIX actually bottoming? Is it in a 13 handle? Is it maybe a 12 handle that revisit from earlier in the year? What do you think there? Because I'm a big proponent of using the VIX to kind of determine when the market might change direction. What do you see out there?
Yeah, that's great question. So the way I like to use the VIX is more of an intraday standpoint. So I like to have key levels on it, and I like to keep an eye on just the overall trend. In terms of where do I think the VIX could bottom out at, quite honestly, I'm not too sure. Could possibly see that 12 o'clock range. We see that, let's see over here. This was July of last year. We had a spike. What I like to do is just keep an eye on any major pivots, right? So 1062, that's near key psychological level, $10, $11. Really, listen, man, it would be crazy to see the VIX under 10.
That's what. So I only asked the tough questions around here, Kev. So I wasn't trying to stump you there, but this is something. This is something that I'm thinking about too. Like where is the actual bottom on the VIX? We just talked about timing entries here, maybe keeping tight stops. If you're going to use the VIX as one of your indicators there, it's going to be paramount that you get that entry near the support level. So again, 1338, that was the low print from Wednesday. It looks like the VIX is going to retest and dip back into the 13 handle here today. We'll see where it closes. But I got to think we're getting to a point here pretty soon where that thing is due to bounce, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And that will always give us a good opportunity, right? We talk about day traders, swing traders. Well, when the VIX spikes and hits over that $20, $24, that's usually the reaction of the market selling off or pulling back. So guys, if you're looking to long-term invest, when VIX is at extreme lows like this, we do not want to be buying the highs of the market. We want to wait for pullbacks on the VIX, just like we want to wait for pullbacks on the S&P and NASDAQ.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Did you want to do any other indices here before we bring on 13 and talk about some of the movers?
Yeah. Did you want, it's up to you guys.
Yeah, let's do. You didn't look at the Qs yet, did you?
No, we can take a look at the Qs.
Why don't you do that for us, Kev? Why don't you break down these Qs for us? Then we'll take a look at some of these morning movers.
Good thing. Good stuff. All right. The first thing I'd notice on the NASDAQ lately, guys, is we've been struggling. It's still been green. We've still been bullish since this was Thursday, the 18th. So there's our Christmas rally, right? We've been moving higher, up about 3 to 4%. Nothing crazy, but look how small these intradays have been, right? We haven't been seeing good momentum lately, whereas something like the Dow has been seeing a lot more strength. And the only reason I mention that is because the S&P 500 has also seen a bit more strength than the NASDAQ has, because the S&P is a strong holding of the Dow and the NASDAQ, whereas NASDAQ is mainly that tech sector. So I'd want to keep an eye. We are above previous day high on NQ. I like to keep an eye on equities as well, like the NVIDIA, Google. These are very important to keep an eye on. Let me see if I could pull that chart up. So again, when I'm trading, I have a few monitors up. And on the monitor above me, I have my top 6 equities of the ES and NQ. We have the Meta in the top left, Microsoft, Apple, Google, NVIDIA, and Amazon. And when I see strong trends or continuation in, let's say, Google and NVIDIA, then I'm going to look for that trend on NASDAQ as well, because I know not only is NVIDIA a strong holding, but now, as of a month ago, so it's probably more at this point, but NVIDIA makes up over 8% of the S&P 500. Google also a large step and also at all-time highs. These are some of the top 2 movers in the ES. So I like to keep an eye on those for just overall trend and confirmation.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead and bring on 13 and see how he's doing here. We're going to make it a party here, Kev. I hope you're ready.
Let's do it.
I hope you're ready. Let's bring him on. 13. Good morning. How you doing,
Hi.
boss?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. How's everybody's Christmas?
Good, jolly.
It was definitely jolly. It was definitely jolly. I don't think you need to yell at us, so just gonna dial it back a little bit.
No. This is we gotta end this year with a bang.
I know. Okay. Hey, you've had your coffee here today.
I've had some sips.
And I am here for that. How was your Christmas? Mine was excellent. How was yours?
Oh, well, the thing about gifts, it's always great to see them enjoyed by everybody. Uh, get to watch the kids tear through presents. And in some cases, you get to see whole teams appreciate gifts, like the one that Minnesota Vikings gave the Packers. We're in the playoffs now, folks.
Oh,
I like
man.
it.
I definitely did not see that one coming. I was just gonna avoid that whole thing here. If someone could please give a couple of $100 bills to the producer so that he can wipe the tears away from his eyes, that would be lovely. Because man, oh man, that one came out of nowhere. 13, but okay. Hey, Christmas present on Christmas. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Thank you,
So
everybody.
we were just and it's good to see you, of course, as always. Thank you for joining us, by the way,
Absolutely.
the day after Christmas here. I was just asking Kev his thoughts on some of the indices here. I would ask you the same thing, but then we can go ahead and maybe take a look at some of these movers here. Did you have any thought on the VIX, SPY, technology, the Santa Claus rally that we appear to be in, any of that stuff? Where are you at with that?
Well, VIX, I don't know. It's we still haven't. It doesn't seem like we've quite bottomed yet. We are a little bit higher than we were last week. I'm starting to wonder what happens when we get down underneath 12, like we were in 2024.
Yeah.
Because right before we, when we were hitting 12 or underneath 12, then we led into that yen carry trade unwind. So just not sure what the catalyst is. It's going to get something like that to happen in the near term, but just I'm keeping an eye on the VIX.
Mhm.
Just to see how what levels we go to before we start bottoming. Another level to watch for is going to be just slightly under 13, and because last time we had one of those, because that's been a level before. So I'm just waiting to see what happens here. I don't think we're going to see the VIX spike up quite yet because we're going into a Santa Claus rally.
Mhm.
So I would expect there to be a few more low prints, but if we get underneath 12. I think I'd be getting ready for some kind of spike to happen.
Yeah, I think I would too. Kev, I had asked you earlier about actual VIX levels. I don't think I asked you at all about timing. 13 brings up a good point here. Do you have any maybe gut feeling or anything in terms of when we might see a sell-off next year? Do you feel the same about the Santa Claus rally as we do?
I definitely agree with you guys on the Santa Claus rally. In terms of next year's sell-off, ideally, I'd like to see it in the first half of the year.
Me
but
too.
Next year is midterms, so that's going to bring a lot of extra volatility and uncertainty. And with uncertainty does come selling. We saw that last year, or I guess this year, when Trump announced tariffs and we weren't too sure how it's going to have an impact, and markets sold off over 20% from all-time highs. So when there's uncertainty and worry in the economy, gold performs well, safe havens. ESNQ, SPY, QQQ, they tend to perform poorly because of uncertainty, right? If investors are uncertain that we have strength or something backing it, they're going to be taking their money out and put it into something like a safe haven. So
okay, so I'm with you there. I don't necessarily know when we are going to see a move down. I'm with you. I definitely want to see it in the first half of the year. I also think that is when we are going to see it. Better still, I'd like to actually see it in the first quarter. I'd like to get that out of the way as soon as possible so that we can resume the trend back to the upside, which I think is inevitable here. So market didn't ask me for what my opinion is, so it's going to go on not asking me. So we'll take that with a grain of salt there. But okay, I just wanted to just check in there on timing at all. All right. How about some of these movers? Kev, I know you trade mostly futures here, but we'll run down some of these movers here real quick. And if you have a thought on any of the charts or the individual names, definitely interrupt us and let us know. 13, you ready for some of these movers?
Yeah, there's really only one I took a close look at.
I know. I was going to say, there's really not a whole lot here. I'm going to start with XIII.
Okay.
Just because we talked about this last week. Remember, XIII went on a big run when the space theme really started to take off. Dare I say, go to the moon. I don't want to step on Peter's Schiff right now. It is what it is. But in any case, we saw the space theme move. We saw XIII, as talked about here on the show. It's going to need money. They did an offering. Offering has been completed. You can actually see it on this chart, right? Here's our move up. Here's our offering. And look at that. That offering got bought up. It has been completed. Now, here we are actually holding higher than we were on Monday of last week. So this is actually a pretty decent sideways formation here. Sure looks like it's using $3 as resistance here today. So I think that definitely can be one of your key levels here today. The theme at the end of the year here has absolutely been the 65 EMA, and we're getting that again here. I would imagine that this 280 is to 280 to maybe 283 is going to be a first level support area here for SIDU. If it does in fact move back down, we'll see what the actual 65 EMA on the 5 is by the time it does move down. But key levels that I'd be looking at here on SIDU, 280 to 3. The pre-market high here was in fact 315, so maybe we break above that. Quick peek at the short interest here, 14.71% of the float shorted with 1.09 days to cover. Elevated on the percent of float shorted, but not terribly high, and nothing concerning there on days to cover. On average, the stock trades just shy of 11 million shares. Today, it's traded 24 million plus, and the float, as a reminder, 54 million. So 13, what do you think here on SIDU?
I think this is trying to make a move going into the open here. We might see $3 pretty quick here in just a moment. This company, I don't think that aside from what you mentioned with the closing of the public offering, there's no new news here. But this, when I was looking at this one last year for the whole space theme, this was one that was really interesting because they had an agreement with a company called Lone Star that they're going to build data centers on the moon. Now that whole data centers in space idea is really gaining some traction. And if there's going to be one company that you're going to want to pay attention to, it's going to be this one. This is a data center in space company. You are going to want to pay attention to it for this theme. So this could be a really good one going into 2026. I think the space sector is going to get a lot of attention. It's going to heat up, especially if the SpaceX IPO happens next year.
And we're pretty sure that that's going to happen. I know there's nothing like officially set in stone, but they have talked about that being a 2026 thing. So,
yeah, and we'll see what the valuation ends up being. But right now, as far as this chart goes, we are above the VWAP. We recaptured that about almost an hour ago. The 65 EMA is coming up to meet it. I think as long as we hold above this VWAP going into the open here, we're looking pretty good. We just have to get past that 314 high, and we still have 38 minutes for all this to happen. It looks like we're heading in that direction. I don't know exactly when this breakout's going to occur, but it seems to me like we're trying to get back over 3 and higher.
Okay,
I like
all right,
that.
good.
I like
Go ahead,
270. Sorry,
What's the price?
270. We're looking at SIDU, right?
Yes.
See between previous pre-market previous day highs, I guess around 240, and then we had a bit of a volume imbalance, a big gap between 250 and 270 on that run up this morning. So if we could get a pullback into that low volume area, I always like to see these low volume areas as a point where people are looking to fill, right? Because I just want to switch the chart for half a second.
Yeah, go ahead. I should have been on top of it. Sorry about that.
Oh, good. No, we're good. We're chilling. It's teamwork, man. So when I throw the volume profile up over here, we see that we have a lot of volume to the upside from today's session. So that's telling me that price and volume, they're accepting price at higher levels. So as traders, we also want to know that we range 80% of the time. So ideally, instead of looking to buy the highs, we want to try to buy the lows. So we see right now the bottom of our range is around 280. I see the volume really falls off below that 280. So I'd look for over here for a reaction to go along, because then we would also be buying the lows and selling the highs. I also took a gold trade, by the way.
What do you got? What do you got for us?
I took a gold long off of that volume area we were looking at before. So we broke this zone. I mentioned before in the trade setup, if we break this zone, I'll look for a retest. Got the retest. I'd like to have a first price target of the top of that zone, which looks like we're getting pretty close to right now. So let's see, 50, and then new high a day will be the next target. So I just took some micros. I started the position with 9. I added 3 when we had some momentum. I'll look to get out of 3 right up here to lock in some profits and hold the rest till the next take profit.
Okay, that's great. 13, we need to cover more movers because as soon as we did that, Kev took a trade and gave us a setup on it. So let's see if we can get some more here on that. That'll work out well. Kevin, I like this. I like this breakdown here on this.
And that $3 level, the more I look at this level on SIDU, that's been the level since earlier this morning around 5:30 that we lost and have not been able to cleanly recapture. We traded above it, we printed above it, no closes above that level on a 5-minute chart. So definitely shaping up to have $3 be a pretty big breakout spot on volume.
Okay, good stuff there on Saidu. Let's do the next one here is going to be ASPC. And look at this. This should be a reminder from last week. What was going on here? ASPC, a SPAC 3 acquisition is the name of the company here. You can see this stock spiked on Wednesday, came all the way back in. This was one that was halted a few times. Looks like it's doing it again here on the pre-market. Notable thing here so far today is that today's pre-market volume is actually higher than the volume that we saw intraday last week. See if we continue that into the regular session here. We'll see if there's any news on this one. I don't think so. Nope, got nothing fresh here, so I don't see anything news related. Take a quick peek at the short interest on this. Negligible, 0.46% with 1 day to cover. There's nothing going on here. On average, the stock trades 112,000 shares. Today, it's traded 600,000, so it's just meeting our threshold here. Float is 4.77 million. 13, you got any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, so this company is merging with another company called Bioserica International Limited. This is a bio-based antimicrobial materials company. So it seems like this is going to be in kind of like the medical space, but kind of like the home product medical space, kind of like how Procter & Gamble would, I think. Don't know if that's necessarily the case. That's kind of what I'm getting from the way that this company reads. So that's who they're merging with. I don't think the news today was on any particular point of their merger. I'd have to dig a little bit deeper to find out if that's the case. 4.77 million shares in the float. Let me look at the chart here, see where this is trading at. I think I did look at this, and this had come off the near 24 high it made earlier. Yeah, it did. So this ran up to $23.97, almost $24. That happened earlier this morning, about an hour ago. A little more than an hour ago, and lost VWAP. We are finding some support around the 1760 area. So as long as that level holds up, we won't have to look at the 65 EMA to catch the next level of support. VWAP is going to be resistance. That's be at 1920 right now. Don't know. What the catalyst is here. Like I said, we'd have to look into it, see if there's any news about the merger. But aside from that, just wait for, I think recapturing the VWAP is the next thing we need to see. And then there's some resistance at $20 as well. So those will be the next two upside resistance levels I'd see.
Kev, you got anything for us on this chart or any new trades, or should we move on?
Yeah, I just closed out gold for a 3-to-1 risk to reward. That was a pretty nice trade. Here, let me pull that up for you. So I went long down here. So look at this. We were selling off.
Look at that entry, dude. Great job.
Right? Look at that, man. Bottom ticked it. Said, let me hold that for a second. And we just ran real strong. So I got out of all of it up here. First take profit was back to the top of that zone. Ideally, I wanted to see new high a day with the trend, but like we also mentioned in the comments too, somebody mentioned too that it's hard going long at all-time highs because we also don't have any historical levels to work off of. But it's also hard to go short at all-time highs given the momentum we have behind us.
Okay.
Here's a ASPC that we just talked about trying to get. It's moving over the VWAP right now, looking for 20.
Really good mention. Got that level figured out there. I've got 1944, but it's basically 20. Okay. We'll see here. ACSP looks like that is moving a little bit here. I'd like to see the volume tick up, but we'll see what happens when the session actually opens. Next here is going to be Square Foot or SQFT. This is Presidio, Property Trust. This thing looks like it ran up to 440. It's pulling back here. We lost the VWAP of 399. We are on our way to that 65 EMA down there in the 330s. If this continues, I didn't see any news on this one yet. No fresh news on this. So it looks like this is just kind of moving on some trading action here. Seems to all be about the volume here so far. Quick peek at the short interest on this name, 2.66% with 2.18 days to cover. So a little bit of short interest, but fairly negligible here. Stock on average trades 50,000 shares. It's a ghost town. Traded 1.31 million here today. Float is super small, and which allows this stock to be pushed around 1.2 million shares in the float. 13, you got anything here on SQFT Square Foot?
Well, it was looking good about 10 minutes ago, and then we hit 438 and went beneath VWAP, and now we're testing some of these smaller EMAs. The thing that concerns me is that they filed to they had an offering earlier this month to sell almost 1.5 million shares of Series A common. So there could be a capital raise coming here if that didn't end up happening here. Let me see if that's on our secondary offerings. So it looks like it's showing up there, but I don't think that they've done this yet. They've closed it yet, so that could still end up happening. Aside from that, we just got to wait for an area of support, which looks to me like it could be about 350. If you look at what was happening in the after hours on was it Tuesday? They went up to about where we're at, the price is at right now, and kept trying to get above and hold above the 350 area on admittedly low volume, but couldn't do it, and went back down into the 325 area. So until this morning. So I think that 350, that I don't have an exact number, but in that 350 range, I think you're going to see some more support kick in. We're already getting it right now. But if that doesn't hold up, you do have the 65 and 200 EMAs beneath it.
Okay, we'll see here. That looks like that has just turned into a selling fest on the heck of that move down. Okay, try not to get too excited here today, guys. Try not to get too excited, but hi-ho is back. So I know we had some fun with this on Wednesday. Hi-ho is back here. Remember, the action here on Wednesday took us almost as high as 180. It was, what, 177? Yeah, 176, 177. We backed off that spot here. It looks like we're getting a little return to that here. 170 definitely seems to be a key level. We're basically right at the VWAP right now, so we'll see if we hold. The 65 EMA on the 5 is down here at 155. That would be another support area, probably 150 after that, and then the 200 at 146. Hi-ho here. Highway Holdings is the name of the company. We talked about this. The news that they had on Tuesday was plans to acquire 51% of Region Feinbau Alderman GmbH. This is a foreign company here. Basically announced they signed a letter of intent with Lamal E to acquire 51% of that for cash and unregistered shares. We had a little bit of continuation on Wednesday. Looks like we're getting a little bit of that today. I definitely think this probably appeared on relative volume scanners over the last couple of days. On average, it trades 2.5 million. Prior to the open here, we're already at 1 million. So I think we're going to eclipse that. We did the last several days as well. Float in this is 3 million. And as mentioned here, the short, negligible. There's basically nothing here. Nothing for percent of float shorted, nothing for days to cover. So 13, is it going to be another day where it's hi-ho, it's off to work we go?
I would not take it off our radar just because this could be one that gets hit with the crack trading. It's just got the low float. It's been on the people's radar all week because of the news. That could be what's happening here. I agree with you on the relative volume. That certainly turned it around, I believe. But we are coming up to some resistance around the 175 area. So that's going to have to be a level we take out pretty soon, or after we get into the open. But I think that this is one that's just getting hit by those traders that are trying to push around the low float names. Right now, the MACD indicates that we are kind of losing momentum as we approach the open. So I think it's probably going to be more likely, and we are beneath the VWAP. It's probably going to be more likely that we end up coming down to the 65 EMA before we start pushing back up towards the highs again. Okay.
We'll see if we get that there on hi-ho. Good morning, Jay. We did have a great Christmas. Hopefully you did as well. Did you watch a Christmas Story, Christmas Vacation? I did see the meme about Ralphie getting the gun. That made me laugh. Hopefully you had a great Christmas there. Okay. AMC Robotics. This actually, I only have one more here on the movers list, but I guess AMCI, this started to trade up here recently. We have no fresh news on this one. We talked about this one recently. This was a massive halt fest last time that we talked about this. Looks like it's gearing again here today. It's holding pretty much right at or near its VWAP. It was basically just trading along that 65 EMA before it pushed away on volume. To me, this is all going to be about the technicals and the volume that you get here today. I have no short interest read on this. 13, do you have anything here on AMCI? Or?
Well, what's the float read you have on this? Because this could be another one that gets hit with the crack.
I don't have one. Let me see if I can grab one here from Know the Float.
Yeah, and it does look like we are trading up into a trend line here. If you start with the highs from what was this, Wednesday, the Christmas Eve, and you drop through the pre-market highs. That's
okay,
kind
so
of
sorry for interrupting you here. I actually have no reading from Know the Float, and we obviously don't have one from the Morningstar data pool here in Pro. Do you have one at all? Anything?
my broker says it's over 1 million, but I don't get the sense that that's necessarily correct. This was a SPAC. Maybe it is, but I can't really bring myself to believe that post-merger there's only about 1 million shares on the float here. So I don't know if that reading's accurate, but let's say that it's relatively close to that reading. That's still a low float name that could get caught up in the crack trading. This could get pushed around. The thing that I would need to see next is I need to see this get back above VWAP. And then we can break out the of the trend line that we just talked about. $11 does look like another secondary resistance area once we get past the VWAP.
Okay, real quick here. Thank you, chat. Seems like several of you are saying TradingView says around 1.09 million.
Yep.
Okay, so a couple of reading there. Rakesh saying that it's around 3.22. Rakesh, let me know where you got that from.
Either way,
it's low float.
Very, very low. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Kevin is using TradingView. That's not a trading platform. That is TradingView.
TradingView. Brokers trade ovate.
There you go.
So yeah.
Just a couple more here, and then we're going to have plenty of time to cover whatever you guys want to cover. Let me just get through the list here real quick. Next one is going to be Jeff Brands. This is ticker JFBR. This spiked earlier past 130. It's pretty much round tripped the entire move. This actually did have some news here today. Jeff Brands to sell 1.43 million Fort Technology shares, which represents about 7.4% of shares outstanding, for 928,000 Canadian dollars, implying a $12.5 million Canadian dollar valuation and up to 20 million Canadian dollars fully diluted. So that was the news that you got here on Jeff Brands. It sent it initially. Remember, this is another low float stock. Jeff Brands here has a float of 674,000 shares in the float. So micro float at this. It has retraced almost its entire move here, so I would be careful. Does stop me if you've heard this before. It looks like it bounced off that 65 EMA. We'll see if that one continues to hold here. As mentioned, short interest 8.66% with 1 day to cover 13. This is one of the few movers that actually had a catalyst here today. What do you think of JFBR today?
Well, they keep talking about the valuation and how Fort Technologies valuation is around 20 million in Canadian dollars. That comes out to be about 14 and a little more than 14 and a half for in American dollars. So with a valuation, a market cap of less than 700,000, I think that's going to give this a little bit of a lift. So we could see some more wild price action in this one. The float and the market cap, they're almost the same, because we're trading right around $1. So float on this one, very, very low, less than 675,000 shares. This one's going to probably get pushed around more throughout the day. I don't know what the morning's going to look like once we have the opening bell, but this does have some, it is in the MACD is indicating that the downward momentum is starting to slow. So we might see this turn around. I would need to see a recapture of VWAP as the first step to going higher.
Okay, good stuff there, JFBR. And then the last one here real quick was the one that Kathy was mentioning earlier. This is one from recently, AFJK, right?
This was the one that I was mentioning right before the bell on Wednesday. Keep an eye on this one. It looks like it's ready to blast off, and blast off it did right out of the gate. This one, I think you just have to be very careful for. If you look at a daily chart, so if you look at a daily chart, I think that tells you right away the kind of care and cautiousness you want to exercise with this company if you're trading it. Yeah. This thing goes into halt fests, basically.
Yeah. So this one also moving here. Everything else on the list here, either silver or Bitcoin related, nothing crazy with that. Okay. Kev, what do you got for us? Did you make any other trades while we were breaking down the rest of that movers list?
No, just that gold trade. I was looking at the one you just mentioned, the AFJK.
Yeah.
Daily time frame, man. I'm not a big fan of this,
right?
Yeah, nobody is. And Kev, one more thing really quickly, just so you're aware, because we talked about this last time when you weren't here. This is another one of those stocks that some brokers are not going to let you open without calling the desk. Yep. So I don't know how your broker does with that. I have Schwab. There's a lot of these kind of junky movers, if you will. I use air quotes for that, where I can't buy them. Neither can some of the groups. So keep that in mind too if you're looking to trade this.
Cool.
Side of Space took out 3.
Yeah. This. What was the other one we were looking at? There was one that had a good volume area below us. Was it ASPC? AS.
The one that we were looking at earlier this morning.
Let's see.
I can just go
Sure,
back
I
to the
do.
movers list. We can
I think
review
you're
all
right.
of those. And it looks like, oh, do we have another one running
I
here?
do. That's it.
No. This one moved on Wednesday. Looks like it's popping again here. ECDA. Let me look. Let me just see if there's any news on this real quick. No, the news
ECDA?
here was from ECDA. This was one that was moving on news on Wednesday in the half session. Looks like it's getting a little continuation here today. It was basically a penny stock until this move, though.
Yeah, this looks solid. I like this one a lot more than some of the other price action we've been seeing.
Okay.
Now we're getting a bit of stronger volume on the upside and downside, which tells me that yesterday they were accepting price even higher, and then they went even higher than that, accepted even higher. So at this point, what I'd like to see volume-wise is you see how we have all this volume here, and then we completely fall off, and it picks back up.
Mm-hmm.
So this little fall off right here would sort of be that imbalance that I referred to, where price did not give volume the opportunity almost at all to fill. So because of that, there's a lot of unfilled orders here. So as soon as price returns, normally when they start to fill, we'll get that reaction.
Now, do you view that low volume node, which is what we call that here when we take a look at that chart, do you view that as a support or a resistance area?
Exactly. That's
Perfect.
exactly what I do.
Okay, perfect. And that's going to line up exactly with what we've been looking at too. I know that you use this more on intraday charts than I do, but we absolutely look at this volume profile, the low and high volume nodes, and try to determine possible support and resistance based off that. So
awesome. Yeah, listen, volume is the one thing that the institutions can't hide, right? And retail traders, we only make up less than 5% of that total volume. So the volume we're trading off of with volume profile is never going to be retail.
So ECDA did a 1-for-5 reverse split today.
Oh, look at that.
okay.
That's why I think we're getting this move. Look at Monday, December 22nd. There's a whole bunch of news about their 1-for-5 reverse split effective December 26th. That's today. That's what's happening here with this one. And they also had that other news too. But I think we're seeing a lot of this from the reverse split.
What's going on, guys? What's going on? What's up, Tom? What's up, Buffalo? Good morning, man. Go Bills. I'm a Giants fan. It's been a hard season, dude.
Yeah. A lot of us are having some really wishy-washy seasons.
Yeah.
I had mine last year. I'm no stranger to it.
Lion keeps up bringing up PALL, the Palladium ETF. Brian, we were talking about that last week or before Christmas in the happy hour. And I think we were looking at this as likely or potentially being tied to what's going on with Russia. So if that conflict, changes or comes, winds down or whatever the situation is, certainly think that's going to drive palladium because that's a big exporter of that metal.
Awesome. ECDA making its way to that 110.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm sorry about that. ECDA is making its way to that 110 area. We were looking for possible entries on it. I'm not taking it myself. I don't have a penny stock brokerage available at the moment, but because again, mainly trading futures, but this is looking decent. Usually I'd want to wait for a reaction. I wouldn't take it right away. Markets haven't even opened yet either. So ideally, when we do find these types of setups that require volume, ideally, I'd like to see that happen during the New York session when we have that New York volume available. When it comes to these lower traded stocks, we do see they do have volume picks up earlier in the morning before in the pre-market. So given that as well, I do think this is possibly setting up on ECDA for a pullback. Let's see, you ever use the fibs?
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Fibonacci lines up perfectly with it. So if I'm using the 78 and the 61 for my optimal trade entry, they call it, be right down over here in this blue zone. That lines up right with my low volume area. So what I'm doing there is I'm seeing confluence. I see the Fibonacci key level. I see a low volume shelf there. If anybody trades fair value gaps, that's there too. And I also just see a bullish trend lately. So here we go. Here's that ECDA.
So what does this story tell you for a buy area, Kev? Because I actually just can't see the numbers there. So I guess I'm just asking you to speak the numbers out.
You know what? Let me fix that then. Is that better?
It's a little bit better. 20 is the butter zone.
20, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let me know. I got you.
Because we do that in our own charts here, since they're powered by TradingView here at Benzinga. But
Look-
Bird and Miles is asking, where would you buy ECDA? So as mentioned, legal mumbo jumbo here. You're responsible for your own trades. We cannot advise when you buy or sell securities, and buying and selling securities contains its own inherent risk. So make sure you do all of that good stuff and be responsible for your own trade. But Kev, given what you just said there, what does the zone here look like? What does a good buy spot look like here for you?
I mean, I think we're coming right off of it. Between that $1 to 110, look at the reaction we just got. Volume picked up in this area around 107 to 110. We're getting that reaction, bullish reaction right off the gate. So that's showing me that, like I was looking for before with the empty orders there, those orders are now starting to fill. We're getting that reaction. We even see our volume profile starting to update too. This looks pretty solid to hold this 110 area. Possible stop loss below that dollar. But again, like Ryan mentioned, trade what you're willing to lose, right? When you take a trade, you shouldn't take that trade thinking, oh, how much am I going to make? You have to take it knowing, if I lose this trade, is that okay? Right? Because we have the one thing we can't control in the market is our risk per trade, our risk management. Options, it gets a little jumpy, because if we get a big spike, those options could surpass your stop loss. Same with even stocks, right? If we're in, let's say we buy at 110, stop loss at $1, and for whatever reason, ECDA gets a news catalyst and it drops to 50 cents. We're probably not going to get filled at that stop loss of $1. So whatever your full position, your entire position is, I'd hate to be like, you have to be ready to lose it, but you should never trade more than you're willing to lose.
Hope for the best, plan for the worst.
That's right. That's right. Look at that. Still holding this area. Gave us another opportunity off that 110. Not too bad there on ECDA.
Looks like AMCI, we're still holding above the VWAP that we just captured. We need to see this 11 handle get taken out.
Nice. I see gold also continuing, trying to make a new high a day as well. That was a beautiful trade earlier. Good stuff overall, everybody. What's going on, Uncle Dracula? I like that's a cool name, man.
Dude, he's from Transylvania. We get viewers from all different types of places here. Transylvania is one of them. So giddy up.
Beautiful. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, listen, market analysis overall, just looking at the technicals, we have to try to make our systems not as simple as possible, but simple enough that we could come back every day and routinely do it, right? Come back day after day, because if consistency is key in our trading, then routine and structure will get us that consistency. If you're strategy hopping, you use the moving average one day, VWAP the next day, you're not going to see good results and consistent results.
And this is why when we were telling you about indicators, figure out as early as you can which ones work for you.
That's right.
Is it Fibonacci? Is it volume profile? Is it moving averages? Is it a combination therein of those? Whatever works for you that allows you to do the consistency that Kevin is talking about, that is the right formula.
That's right.
All right. You guys want to just do ticker time here real quick? Because I don't really have much. We got 12 minutes till we open. Kev, I'm going to throw your chart up here and actually step away for just a sec. But I would say take some tickers from the chat. It looks like you've got a couple of suggestions to start you off here. Micron, Broadcom, and DPro.
Yeah, I'm just watching the movers to see if anything happens. So let's go ahead and look at some other stocks while I keep an eye on these.
Beautiful. So guys, let's get started on MU. Then we'll take a look at DPRO. Drop some tickers in the chat. Let me know what you're interested in looking in. On MU, I'm looking back, right? We're on the daily time frame, and we're really looking back, and clearly we're at all-time highs. So like we mentioned earlier with gold and silver, what do we do when we're at all-time highs? Because we don't have any historical levels to work off of. We can't say, oh, in the past we rejected 300, because we've never been at 300 before. But what we can do is prepare and mark out those psychological levels. So $300 even, that's a great spot to be at, right? A lot of big institutions might be looking to target that, or even long-term investors are looking for that as well. So it's a key psychological level. We'll make it yellow for now. And then what I would do, because we're looking at MU, is I would do by possibly every $10. So 300, 310, 320. This gives us the opportunity to say, okay, listen, these are new key levels. I'm going to look for the reaction off them. And as price does continue and gives me reactions, that will help confirm or deny these key levels. Awesome, guys. Cool. So that's MU. Ideally, again, because we're hitting all-time highs, we see that we're making higher highs and higher lows. This is a bull trend. We wouldn't want to fight a trend like this. CRM, AVGO, Carvana. Carvana, man, is crazy. I covered that on social media about a week or two ago. You guys could follow me on there. Obviously, follow our homepage at Benzinga. You can follow my Instagram too, is at Trading with Kev. I post daily market videos, about 30 seconds. Last week, I posted a video on Carvana. Carvana was at $300 a share, $376 back in August 2021, crashed over 99% to just $3 a share in February 2023, and has made the most remarkable comeback in stock market history, right?
Yeah, that's one of the greatest stock market comebacks I've ever seen.
Yeah, like
Carvana.
That's insane.
Jeff Brands is hit the VWAP. It's slow moving still. MACD is starting to curl up. Watch for either a move through VWAP prior to the open or just after it. It looks like we're trying to get back above that. Also with Micron, lots of analyst price targets for 300. With how extended this is on the daily, even more extended on the weekly, and very extended on the monthly, I would be very, very careful about what happens around 300.
Awesome. I wanted to bring this up, if you guys don't mind talking about it briefly, because I feel like this is a major sort of news impact on not just Netflix or Warner Bros. Or Paramount, but on the streaming industry in a whole, right?
Bro, we have been on top of this story from the very beginning. I completely agree with you. This is pretty big.
Why?
And I'd be curious to get your take on this, Kev, just to kind of bring you up to speed, the TLDR from kind of where we're at. There are a lot of folks that really want to trade Netflix for a lot of good reasons, right? Post split, it's cheaper. You can afford it more. It's come in a little bit from its monster run. One of the things that I've been saying is, boy, oh boy, though, until we get this situation resolved, kind of hard to really come up with a fair valuation, what this actually means. Netflix is going to have to spend billions of dollars to acquire some of these content assets. That's going to drive the price lower here. So that's kind of where we're at here. We think that they talk about synergies. They talk about being accretive in 2027, which is not even next year. So I'd like to get your opinion on this. It looks to me like, what do you have there? 80? Does that
80, 85.
Hey, does that spot sound familiar? That's been our spot here on this show for months now, or weeks maybe.
Listen, when you're good at TA, it just so happens to match everybody else who's good at TA.
That's right. 80, 85 looks like that area. That looks like exactly what you have on that chart there.
You got it.
I could see going to 70. We death crossed earlier this month at the beginning. I can see like 80, 85 to provide some support and maybe even give us a short-term rebound that takes us back up probably over 90. Thinking a little bit longer out, this seems like it's still going to continue lower. I don't think that we're going to hit the 500-day SMA and start getting some robust support. This battle seems like it's going to get dragged out for quite some time. I think we could see the price continue lower as 2026 goes on. So 70 looks to be like a really big area of support because it was previously resistance back in 2021. I think that could be a big area of support if this saga continues with this merger acquisition.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I agree with what Ryan was saying too about how it seems like this acquisition building up to it and the uncertainty. We mentioned uncertainty on the stock market in a whole. Well, now we're talking about uncertainty on this one specific company. Mm-hmm. Are they going to be able to pull through on this deal? And obviously, if they do, we know that's going to have a strong reaction. If this deal pulls through, and Netflix would have control of over 40 to 45% of the premium streaming industry. That is massive. They're going to increase rates. They're going to have another net flow of income. In my opinion, Netflix anywhere below 90, 95 is a fantastic buy because even if it just makes its way towards all-time highs again, you're looking at over a 40, 45% return on your investment right there.
You're not alone there. Lion says if Netflix gets to 70, he's going to sell his house. He's not even going to have a house anymore because he's going to take those proceeds to buy Netflix at 70. Look, I'm just going to say right off the spot here, Lion, you are 1 in a million. I do not advise anybody follow Lion's trading strategy here of selling your house. to buy a stock, maybe don't do that. But nonetheless, here, it does seem like, and by the way, just full disclosure here on Netflix, I don't know about you folks. You guys might already be subscribers. I shelled out $25 yesterday to subscribe to Netflix so I could watch the 2 football games in 4K with no ads. I've already set my subscription to cancel, so they're only going to get my $25. But I am going to soak up as much of that Netflix content this holiday season as I can. Did anyone else buy Netflix for the football games?
I already had Netflix. Apparently, that was a really good Snoop Dogg halftime show. I thought it was really well done. But
yes, it was. But unfortunately, we're going to get Bad Bunny for the Super Bowl. I don't know why they didn't ask Snoop Dogg for that. He did a great job, and it was relatable to all different types of audiences, which is perhaps one of the craziest.
Oh, he'll be back. He'll be back.
Okay.
But anyway, when it comes to Netflix, remember, once this deal goes through, it is going to be hit with all kinds of regulations and regulatory approval. That could drag on for a while, and that's where I think the real issues are going to be felt is going through that entire thing. We've looked at past mergers and acquisitions. You can think of Twitter, Activision Blizzard. That's a whole bunch of different ones that have taken such a long time to get through that whole process, and there are a lot of back and forth. So just something to keep in mind when it comes to Netflix and their acquisition.
Absolutely. And it's something too to mention on the acquisition. It's not even like, oh, they're going to purchase Warner Bros. And they're going to have a new streaming service with HBO. Mm-hmm. They then have the access and they hold that purchase power. They own so many big names. Friends, Game of Thrones, I think Lord of the Rings, is that one that's Warner Bros?
The movies only,
the movies are,
right?
Yes, the movies, just the movies.
Yeah, I'm talking like big movies, big titles, Looney Tunes. These are all things that are under Warner Bros. That will then become Netflix.
Harry Potter, yeah, these are big names that, again, will just increase. So it's not even like they're getting 40 to 45% of the premium streaming industry. They're getting that and then some. They're getting massive movie titles. Gold just hit new high a day. Beautiful entry before. But we got a lot going on, right? And what I see too recently, I'm sure you guys covered about how Larry Ellison said he's going to put up $40 billion of his own capital to guarantee it for the Paramount deal.
Mm-hmm.
If they would approve the Paramount deal. I don't know, man. It's funny. I'd almost rather see Warner Bros. Go to Netflix than Paramount. But it's a very tough.
I can't speak to the synergies. I can't speak to the synergies, Kev. But what I can say is I just want this story to be over. Let this story be over so that we can actually digest the information, then figure out where the trade is. I'm with you on all of the spots on Netflix. Frankly, that's the one I would rather trade. If given the choice here. So, okay, really quickly before we open up here, let me go back. You had ASPC 13.
That's moving right now.
Okay, that's moving right now. We had another mover here with some news. So here's your ASPC. We did go through the VWAP. This is what we outlined earlier. That's happening. Let's see what happens when the regular session starts. But also, there was a mention here in the chat for another stock that had some news. It's going to be Power Bank. The ticker's SUUN. This did move on a little bit of volume here, and it does look like we had some news with this. Power Bank says the Starlink Genesis 1 satellite launched on December 10th has been deployed in low Earth orbit and operating in orbital cloud collaboration with SmartLink AI. So that is a press release as of this morning. Looks like that's what's driving the stock higher here. So we have another mover with an actual catalyst on the list. This is actually breaking the pre-market highs as we speak.
Beautiful.
This will probably be one of the ones to keep in the basket of solar names because solar farms are still getting built. They're popping up every month. This is going to be, and this also has a space angle as well. So two different sides of this that are both going to be bullish next year, I think.
Yeah, that looks good.
All right, we're less than a minute till we open here now, folks.
Check out ECDA real quick, man. Talk about a reaction off that level.
Yep, still trying to get over that VWAP.
Right off of 110, got above VWAP, hit 125. It's pulling back now. The question is it pulling back to create a higher low, which would support the bull thesis to go long towards that higher high, or are we going to break this low that we just created before? So at this point, if you're in a trade, I would look to scale your stop loss up a bit because now what you're saying is if my analysis is wrong, we're going to break this low. And if that's the case, I don't want to keep my stop loss all the way down here. If my analysis is wrong, this is where my stop loss is. That's it.
ASPC, here we go. We're open.
We are open. Good timing there, Kev.
Yeah. ASPC trying to get up to 24.
Let's see. Gold looks good. NVIDIA dump right now. We'll take a look at our equities, of course, too.
ASPC is halted, or that, excuse me, that's ASPCU is halted. I think. Oh, no.
ASPC, there it is, 24. We got our number, and now it's going to halt. Awesome.
So we got that right out of the gate. XIII looking like that is trading up a little bit here. I can't break that pre-market high.
Yep.
DTCK, Davis Commodities, that's a penny stock. That might be trying to go higher. ECDA, this is one that we had watched. That also trying to go higher here as well, 125.
AMCI lost its VWAP. That's coming down right now. Looking for support around 980, if not there, the 65 EMA at 951.
Oh. ECDA continuing. Guys, what an entry. What a zone down there earlier. 110. It's trading at 130 right now. So that a 30% right there. Beautiful. Beautiful. Guys, talk about a great way to wrap up Christmas on your favorite Benzinga pre-market playbook show. A great trade setup. We had that set up on gold earlier. Now we got the setup on ECDA hitting. Man, we're hitting all the corners of the market right now. Futures.
Really quickly, sorry to interrupt here. XIII traded up to that pre-market high and was rejected there, could not get above it. So again, just kind of our thoughts here about waiting for these zones to buy as opposed to trying to chase breakouts here, probably the way to go. XIII now pulling back to the VWAP. We'll see if it holds.
Beautiful. Great. Just like we were saying before, like you said, Ryan, we don't want to buy these highs.
Nope.
Right?
Definitely not.
Awesome.
Definitely not. Now, here we go. So XIII really quickly pulled back to the VWAP there. Now it looks like it's trying to take out these pre-market highs. Let's see if it ends up breaking.
Yep. It just did.
Okay. So here we go. So on this now, XIII marching higher here. I would say probably at this point, if it was a VWAP load on this, probably want to at least take partial on that first resistance line break there. Maybe we've got some more legs here in XIII. What do you think? Both of you.
This is the space data centers in space play.
Yep.
It's got space. It's got room. 350. If we could hold above this 320 right here, and I'm talking like really hold it, like 5-minute close above, like, let's say, where are we?
Here's
5-minute close above like 318 would be great. But right now, when we get that first initial break, that's the breakout we don't want to take, right? Because that's usually the break that gets a pullback first.
And look at this, Kev. Just as you were saying that, we literally peaked above 13 said we printed above that.
Yep.
We came right back in. Let's see if it loses the VWAP. This is one of the reasons why I said selling partial at that resistance area is prudent.
ECDA. Here we go.
New high a day. Close. It was so close. It's at 140.
Boy,
it's new. It's the high of the regular session, but yes, we still have that 146 high in the pre-market. We're almost there.
I'll tell you what, even given some of the post-holiday hangover here, multiple options here right out of the gate. ECDA, that was a good call. Side here, back down to VWAP.
Hi-ho now, it's off the trend line break we go.
Oh, my goodness.
We're hitting the trend line right now. Well,
you know what? I see your trend line. And let me add it to the chart here, 13. I'm sorry I didn't have this already.
I thought you were going to say that. And let me raise it a Fibonacci.
Let's do it. You got it? Let me throw it up. What do you got for us, Kev?
No, I'm kidding. Well, the fib we had this morning, right? So look, this was ECDA. We had our entry at 110. Here we are trading at 140 right now. It's a 40% return right there, guys. Right off your pre-market playbook trade setup here on Benzinga. How amazing is that?
Yeah, that is pretty good. ECDA. And by the way, sorry, Kev. Yeah. Bird Miles here. You were asking about this stock in the pre-market here. Look at this. Took some profit. So we talk about selling some on the way up. Now you've got it booked. Now you've got the break happening from the setup. Really good stuff to start the gate. By the way, sorry to be kind of flipping around here quite a bit. Check it out. XIII, not for the weak-hearted, but I'll tell you something. If you were patient and you were trying to add near those areas that were the entry areas, those support areas, some of those areas that we talked about, bang. Now it looks like we're back up to the highs there. 323 is the intraday high print that I have. I don't even know if this one's done yet.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks good. I know XIII looks real good. I really want to see an extension on XIII.
All right. What else we got? I can't believe it. One trade booked already here on Saidu. What else we got? Tesla's popping, Onda's pulling back, Costco's popping, Apple's popping.
Nice.
Our VIX, by the way, 1410. So we popped back into the 14 handle, and thus far we've held it. Bitcoin a little bit weak here, 89,000. That chart actually looks like it might roll over. We'll see if it does that. And Netflix curling up as well.
Very good. Nvidia new high today. Nvidia's been running, man, since December, since the 18th. Nvidia's up over 10% from 174 to 191.
Now, there was someone asking about NVIDIA and whether or not they like it. Saidu new highs, by the way. There was someone else was asking earlier about NVIDIA here. What are you, Kev, I don't think we've asked you about this. What are your opinions on maybe more of a pullback here in some of the big cap tech names? Or do you think it was more of like a reset, kind of waiting to go to some new highs? What do you think on that?
Man, I gotta say, Nvidia alone is probably one of the tougher ones because I just don't see any reason for it to sort of crash like a lot of people are expecting. Like a lot of people think, oh, we're in an AI bubble. My opinion, the AI is just getting started, right? ChatGPT, integration into pharmaceuticals, integration into the automated driving. There's so much going on that's just progressing further and further. It's not a bubble. We haven't reached a peak. It's going to continue. We're probably going to see next year a lot of these newer AI companies start to roll over and fail, like the smaller ones, but things like NVIDIA, AMD, they're going to continue higher. NVIDIA is probably going to see $300 next year if we don't see 120 first. But it's really going to depend on the price action we see and just the news and catalyst around it, right? Can NVIDIA hold those double beat earnings? I'm pretty sure we're on like a 12 earning streak right now on NVIDIA of just double beat after double beat.
And guidance raise, which has been the big thing too.
Yeah. So if that all stays strong, there's maybe no issues with China. That's a big thing with AI too, is does China regulate or does China saying, no, we're not taking NVIDIA chips anymore? That would be 30% of their revenue right there.
Okay, so it sounds like, so I'm kind of with you on that. I don't think a big crash in AI, maybe a little bit of volatility, a little bit of a pullback, but I don't see a big crash either, Kev. Really quickly here, Saidu, congrats to anyone that took this one. I know this was back and forth a little bit. We did a really good job outlining where the entry was here on this and where the sell spots were. Now we've actually pushed to highs. I'm all out of this one, so I've got 1 of 1 here on the day. This is wrapped up. 1 buy, 2 sells on this one. We'll see here on Saidu. We'll see if we get some more extension or if we get a pullback to another possible load area. I'd be looking at a pullback towards maybe 313, 310 here. I'll see if that drags up the VWAP at all on Saidu for another trade. But this one, right out of the gate, this one's pretty good.
And
pretty good. What do you got?
Kevin, one of the things I've argued for some time now is that this is just the beginning of a large super cycle that's going to take us into the 2030s. I don't think we're going to be really see the bubble until years from now.
Yeah, agreed. Absolutely. Like we said, we're just getting started. So at some point, yeah, we are going to get a pullback. We are going to get a correction. We are going to at some point get overvalued, but that's not now. And to keep trying to call that top is like the people that are saying, oh, NVIDIA is overvalued at $3 trillion market cap. Oh, now it's overvalued at $4 trillion. Oh, now it's over. If you keep calling a top like Michael Burry, at some point you'll be right.
The thing about Michael Burry, and I think he's kind of right with this when it comes to NVIDIA's chips, is the amount of power demand that they have compared to some other competitors. Energy. So I think that could be one of the headwinds for NVIDIA that sees their competitors do better, that are consuming less power but still have the same kind of power to compute. That's where I think the headwinds for NVIDIA could be. But it's they're not going to stick around and be like, no, we're going to keep making these power hungry chips and that's that. They'll adapt.
By the way, breaking news here, ticker Lion is running. Lionsgate Studios right out of the gate here on some volume running up to the highs. Now, this is no relation to our Lion here. Just thought we would mention it here. Lionsgate Studios up 4.3% here as this moves right out of the highs.
This is
out of the gate, excuse me.
This is a big movie studio. You've seen a lot of great movies come out of Lionsgates. Don't know exactly what this is on, but I'm sure it's there's probably a relationship trade somewhere in there with the Netflix Warner Brothers acquisition.
What was it, ECDA that we were looking at? I wonder if that made new high today.
That was the one that we had the trade plan on from the pre-market.
Yeah, it was close, man. Look at that. Hit 142, pulling back now, coming to VWAP to hold support. So again, at this point, we're glad that we got our entries down here, right? We weren't looking for entries chasing it. We looked to trade the range and get in on pullback. I was pulling up, we were talking about NVIDIA before and how China's got a lot more power capacity than the US, and it's really just the whole world right now. Guys, if you ever do want to know something about a stock or a company, take advantage of the Benzinga.com website. We've got some of the best articles out there giving you some of the best in-depth information. We really go out of our way to find maybe possible strong tweets supporting whatever the article says, like this one right here, China's dominating worldwide race for power. Let's see. China now records 3.75 terawatts of power generational capacity. We see that's 3 times more than the US. That is huge. This isn't the article I was looking for. There is one on Kevin O'Leary where he's putting together an $80 billion power. I believe it's in I want to say Canada, where he's doing a deal with Canada, a big powerhouse, because he's trying to sort of compete with China, because he's saying that the AI race, yeah, it's important. The chips are important, but the energy is where the US is really lacking, where China really has a strong hold. So can the US come back on the power side? Can maybe Elon Musk come in and create some type of autonomous, who knows, maybe some solar panels, maybe whatever it is, right? He's always integrating himself into whatever needs help next.
So Supric, the entry area we had on ECDA was from earlier. Kev, I don't know if you still have that chart up there. Can you give Supric the entry area that you had? I don't know that we're going to get that again, just saying. But just trying to get your question answered here, that entry area. What did you have, Kev?
So originally in this trade on ECDA, this is the replay mode now. So this is what we were looking at going into the trade. We saw a lot of strength. We were creating some higher highs. And when I put the volume profile up over here, or even over here, we saw that this area between we'll say $1 and $1.10 was lower volume. You see how high the volume is over here? And then it just falls off. And even over here, it's stronger too. So this would sort of be our volume imbalance area. So when I'm looking for a trend like this, I like to use those imbalances for those higher highs or higher lows. That lined up for a higher low. So we looked for buyers over there. I know all the drawings get a little messy. But once we found support, look at how price, when we moved into it, look at the volume that picked up in there. So all those unfilled orders that were waiting to get filled, they filled, price held, and we moved. So 110 was entry, around $1 was stop loss below that low volume area. That's what I was looking for. We did end up having a very strong spike. Right now we pulled back, and it does still look like we're trying to make our way towards 146.
So
happy Friday, everyone.
We did have some higher moves here in Hi-Ho. Didn't quite get to the 177. We also have ASPC that unhalted, gapped up, went to 3080, halted again. Real quick on the China energy capacity point, they have the power to generate a lot of electricity, but they do not have, by any means, the ability to produce the oil or the coal that is needed to generate all that electricity. So they are very, very sensitive to any fluctuations or disruptions in energy supply chains. And with this different geopolitical tensions happening in Venezuela and of course Iran, those are all major suppliers of China's energy. And and Joe, they are they are using a lot of coal to power this as well. So they're trying to move. They're trying to get past all that, go more into solar and more into nuclear, so they don't have to necessarily be as dependent on other countries for their energy source. But that's going to be a very, very big choke point for them if any of that incoming oil or coal or resources used to generate that electricity is disrupted.
And really quickly here on Hi-Ho, I know you mentioned this right before you started there. This did push up to the trend line. It actually looks like it's battling right now at the trend line. So I know we peaked above it. Let's see if we can close above it. But the trend line that we added here on Hi-Ho is going. I also really quickly wanted to mention Coupang. That's ticker CPNG. The stock is up 10.5% today. We actually had a decent pop, pullback, and then move higher here out of the open. Here's what's going on for CPNG. Let me make sure I get the ticker right there. South Korea Korean e-commerce giant Coupang rose nearly 6% on Friday today after the company said its investigation into a former employee suspected of leaking customer data was conducted in close coordination with government authorities. So they basically had a data breach here. It looks like they've attributed that to a worker. They've worked with the government, to get this all wrapped up here. Coupang trading higher here by just shy of 11%. This actually looks like this might try and bust above 25. So just what I know, we didn't cover this one in the outlook, but that's what's going on here with this. Check some of the other movers here. ECDA still holding up near its highs after that move. Again, that was a really good call. Saidu, I clicked on the wrong ticker there. Saidu, this was another pretty good trade setup. Now we're pulling back towards the 9 EMA. I've got that at 314. This was one of the levels we had talked about for a potential reload. So far, it looks like that's held. Izzy, good morning. I hope your Christmas was great, boss. FJet is one that Izzy is mentioning here. This is one that we traded last week. This moving again out of the open after its big pullback.
Man, ECDA, that's beautiful, man. New high a day. That's our price target, right? When we're trading that range, target's going to be that new high a day. That's exactly where we got. Came off that $1.10 to 147. I can't do that math in my head, but that's probably like a 20-25% return right there. And it looks like it's got some momentum behind it too. I like the volume that's starting to pick up during the New York session here too.
You got a bit of a trend line here on ECDA. If you look at a 5-minute chart, use the after hours highs from Wednesday and draw it through the pre-market highs today.
I gotcha.
This one?
Yeah. That's we're coming up to that area right now. That could be a side of rejection, or if we break through it, that could become support.
Oh, that's great. And look at this point, right? So sort of it comes to timing in the market too. Mm-hmm. When we get to that point, that trend line, it's going to line up right with that key psychological 150 level. Right, $1.50. So that's a great area to say, okay, this is my final take profit on this trade. I personally like to respect wherever my take profit is. So if I was looking for new high a day, I don't want to say, oh, well, it's going in my favor, let me extend it. Because if you already had your trade set up, this was a 4-to-1 risk to reward, you don't want to get greedy, right? That's where greed comes in. If you want, you could cut 80% and let 20% ride. But we do want to realistically prepare for our take profit, prepare for our stop loss, and not be greedy.
I was just going to say, Kev, that's where scaling out really comes into play here, because if you do take partial there, book your gains, now you're protected and you still have exposure in case it continues on that move there. So, okay, good stuff there. WIS, taking a look at DIAC. DAIC, excuse me. No wonder I got the ghost error there.
Big pull in Saidu all the way down to near the 65 EMA.
Ooh, and it broke its VWAP on Saidu. Yeah, let's look at that one here real quick.
A lot of these are pulling back right now. Hi-Ho losing VWAP. ASPC, that unhalted, popped to 34 and dropped down to underneath 30.
That Saidu move down was pretty nasty. It happened quick. Actually broke 3 here. 288 is going to be that 65 EMA there on Saidu. Well, I hope that you scaled out of this one, just to kind of go back to one of our themes from today.
Hi-Ho going right down to the 65 EMA, almost there. Just big old moves down here. Lots of. Remember, this is crack trading, so there's going to be a lot of illiquid moves up, a lot of illiquid moves down, especially with these low floats.
Don't be afraid to take gains if you have them.
That's right. Guys, make sure you smash that like button. What a killer episode of our pre-market playbook today, man. We got 430 of you guys in here. Run that like button.
That's just on you. I think we got another 1,000 on Twitter, actually. So.
Oh, my goodness. So hit that like, hit that retweet if you're here on Twitter. I saw some people here on Twitch. Man, we got a great community here, guys.
You see, wow, what a big move that was all of a sudden.
ECDA 175.
Yep. Break through that trend line here. That now becomes support.
The trend lines. Here we go. Bird, you're having a good day after Christmas. Got out at 150. That trade from the beginning. You see Kevin making it rain over there.
No.
Terms are coming, baby. Good stuff there, Bird. Nice trade on that. Good Friday. You have one on Twitch. It's just some guy in Tennessee. Well, you know what? We run that Twitch stream for you.
Just for you. Guy. That's right. That is awesome, guys. That is great. Man, we're printing money today. We're making back everything we spent on Christmas. That's how we do it here at Benzinga.
I'm not quite there yet. I'll just throw that one out there, but we're doing good here so far. So Jay also mentioning here, MU, SanDisk, green to red, both of them. These were some of the extended memory names. SanDisk, I believe this was your best performer of the S&P last year or this year, 2025. Boy, I'm already on to next year. Here's what the daily chart looks like on SanDisk. The interesting thing about this, Jay, look at this. Now we have a trend line set up here, lower high on SanDisk. I wonder if this is a near-term top.
This looks like it wants to go for 275 again and take it out. It just has that setup. This could end up being either a couplet handle or a scallop. It's got that pattern formation. Riding the 50-day SMA up here after getting support from it earlier this month. I would really like to see this take out 275. Don't know what if we're going to see that before the end of the year, but certainly looks like we're going to be seeing it at some point soon.
Okay, another register ring here. Carlos, ECDA 170. Gracias, he says. De nada. You are very welcome, Carlos. Really good stuff there. Again, day after Christmas. Wasn't expecting much, but we got moves. We got stuff going on here today.
You guys know we always make it happen.
Tesla still pounding the lows here. Tesla's moved lower out of the open here. It actually tried to go higher, but also went green to red. Several of you folks were talking a little bit about Oklo earlier. I'd be curious to know if you guys have any long-term views here on Oklo. This has been a nuclear darling, I guess you could say. We had a head and shoulders. Maybe this has played out pretty much down here at the 200 EMA on the daily. Let me go to my big chart here where we can take a look at the volume profile as well as some of the traditional moving averages here on Oklo. And I'd be curious to get both of your guys' take on some of the nuclear theme going into 2026. I know me personally, I like energy in 2026. I do think some of these stocks got maybe a little ahead of themselves. Oklo here pretty much down to the 200-day. This also represents kind of a consolidation area before it took its last run higher. So any views here on Oklo for 2026 and then maybe going forward? Just kind of the theme in general for energy production.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, after you, because I like what you were saying about AI needing energy. So in terms of nuclear and energy, I would be all for it because if we're not slowing down in one sector and it's going to impact the next, you know.
No, I agree. And I think nuclear is going to eventually be great and needed for these data centers. But we're looking at like a time horizon of getting these set up and running that are years out. I don't think there's too many coming online in the near term. I think I've been hearing 2028 to 2030 is going to be some of them. But a lot of these nuclear facilities, they're not going to be up and running until into the 2030s. So I'm not sure how great these nuclear names are going to be. We haven't seen the downtrend quite snap yet. I still think we're going to be hitting the 200-day SMA on Oklo pretty soon. Maybe even trade beneath it. If we do, I think I'd like the mid 150s as a spot where we might get some support. Maybe as low as 40, but that's kind of what I'm looking at here.
The mid 50s.
The mid 50s. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay. I said 150s. I was like, boy, if this thing went to 150, we'd be doubling overnight. Okay. Real quick here. Also mentioning the volume profile, which we've talked about quite a bit here. This is clearly entering, and actually I just adjusted it. I'm sorry about that. Let me slide it back here. Going back to March earlier this year, I can actually zoom out a little bit more if you want. Going back here on the volume profile, we are definitely entering a high volume shelf. Again, the big run that it made, it kind of chewed through this range on the way back up. The big pop that it had up towards near 200 was on much smaller volume nodes. I would be very interested. I love this 200-day. I love what you just said there about maybe trading beneath it and recapturing it. To me, that would be the best on Oklo. Also from our chat here, I know we don't have Anne-Marie today, but you could argue we have the next best thing here. Amanda is telling Lion to just sell the puts on Oklo. You'll have so much money, you won't care if it ever goes up, LOL. I sell 60 puts every time it goes down here. So there you go. And as far as the selling puts, if you think the 200-day is going to hold here and you don't mind owning this for the long term, selling those 60 puts might make a lot of sense here. Collect that premium. If it never goes down there, great. You just collected a bunch of money. If it does, you get assigned to a stock you wanted. for the long term at a cheaper price than it is today.
Folks, ECDA is on a tear right now.
Wow. I just saw somebody say they got out at 191. I'm like, no way, it's at 190 right now. That is insane, guys. Wow. I did want to touch on real quick before we get back to ECDA on the nuclear side. I'm just going to pull up the chart real quick. Trump media nuclear bet is riding Manhattan Project trade. I don't know if you guys heard about this a few days ago, but Trump's digital DJT, let's see, where did it say? Donald Trump owned Trump Media, parent Truth Social, recently announced plans to merge with fusion startup TAE Technologies in a deal that could value up to $6 billion. TAE aims to begin constructing of its fusion power plant in 2026. Just
So
we're on that subject, something to keep an eye on.
So we did cover this when the news broke last week. The basic result of this was DJT ran to its 200, ran into
AMCI.
resistance, pulled back a little bit off that. Which one?
AMCI breaking the trend.
That's crazy. ECDA.
Here's your AMCI trade. This is indeed breaking that trend. So I had it on here 13. I'm sorry about that, but this is what you were talking about. Come on, stop lagging.
Yep.
Here's your trend break on AMCI. Higher we go there.
That's it.
Let's see. Somebody was asking if I had any entries on ES. You guys mind if I cover the ES real quick? The S&P 500? Wonderful. So guys, if we're looking at the ES, it would be similar to if we're trading the Ryan, are you switching it at the same time I'm switching it?
I'm trying to, but
that's why it's not working, because I was doing the same. I'll let you do it.
There we go.
Awesome. So I always like to keep an eye when it comes to equities, when it comes to ESNQ. My routine is always going to be mark out previous day high, mark out previous day low, and mark out today's open price. When we have an idea of where we open today, we have an idea if we're bullish above the open or bearish below the open. And same with previous day high and low. I know if we break previous day high, we have a higher chance of closing green and vice versa. So a few things to really look out for there. In terms of entry on it, we're at all-time highs. So as we mentioned on even some other equities, we mentioned on MU earlier, all-time highs require some type of key psychological point, right? Because we don't have any historical levels to work off of. When that happens, I also don't want to buy the highs. So here on the 15-minute time frame, I see that overnight, we created this little area of support right here, right? We moved up, we came back to it, we held it again. So now what I would like to see, we created a second area of support right here, is if the ES wants to yet again. So look, we created the higher high. So higher high, higher low, bit of a pivot, a higher low, a higher high. Can we pull back to this new support and create another higher low right there? If we catch that higher low, that could be leading up to a new high of day and a new all-time high on the S&P. And again, it wouldn't be like we're buying the highs and hoping for the best. We would be trading the range. We're looking to buy the low of the range and possibly get out near the high of the range. So it's not like we're asking a lot of the market. We're just looking to trade what we see.
Well, you're getting the pullback part of this that you needed, and you're getting it across the board here. S&P futures pulled back, Dow pulled back, NASDAQ has pulled back. That's actually on the verge of going red. And Bitcoin, the biggest fader here, Bitcoin, which was up right around 89,500, pulled back down here to 87,800. That too close to going green to red here.
Wow.
RGTZ been great though.
That's been a great trading vehicle.
Oh yeah, it has.
This has been another one where you just didn't even really need to hold this overnight. You basically just needed to show up in the morning and identify some of the spots. Watch RGTI as the actual proxy there. That's worked great. Palantir probably the same, as Palantir's lower here today too.
ASPC is unhalted now. Trying to get that hold above VWAP now.
Next area of support I have on ECDA, guys. If you were looking to try to catch this rally, I wouldn't look to buy the highs, but you see how earlier our low volume area, that was our entry. Now price moved higher and we're starting to consolidate up here. So we're getting similar price action, higher volume up here, a complete fall off, and then a strong volume over here. So ideally, we'd like to see if we can pull back towards that one. Look at that, right near that 150 level too, and create a higher low off that. And right, same situation where we're not buying the highs and hoping it continues. Because the issue too with buying the highs, guys, is it's hard to determine your stop loss because your stop loss should really be where your analysis is incorrect. So if I'm entering a long up here at 193 and 169 hits, well, I know we could still reverse and we could go higher. So that wouldn't be where my analysis is wrong. If this trade setup has an analysis being wrong at 148, should also have my entry being down here at 159. Now it gives me an idea to say, hey, listen, if buyers want to continue this trend, which we've seen a lot of strength today on ECDA, then I want to see this 158, 160 area hold and make our way back higher. Same situation. We're not looking to trade this big move. We're just looking to trade within the range.
ASPC getting support from VWAP, trying to turn back up.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Good stuff today, guys. Man, run that like button up. We're close to 200. You guys already know the deal.
And Jay here mentioning Chop Fest so far. I'll tell you what, some of the smaller movers have been the better trades here today. Indeed, yep. Market printed higher. It's coming back in. It does seem choppy here, and we're kind of expecting that for the rest of the day. Volume also appears pretty low here, as expected as well.
So, Kevin, are we SIDA is coming down into that area you were mentioning before? We had that gap in the pre-market. So is this where you're looking at a potential load zone? Oh, we just went down even further. Yeah. So it looks like 200 EMA might be the spot as well.
250, yep.
So this is a point where I would say, okay, let's wait for the reaction here. We're in the area I was preparing for, but we're selling off pretty strong going into it. Mm-hmm. So the information the market's providing me is that we're selling off, right? We're selling right now. However, when in doubt, look left. This is still the bottom of the range. So seeing that the 5 minute just opened, we have 3.5 minutes left. I wouldn't be so quick to think, oh, we're definitely going to break it. I would think we sold off pretty strong in that first minute. We still have plenty of time to chop around and start to hold. So I'd maybe even look to see if we hold by the last minute of this 5 minute candle to take a long position. Or if anything, wait for this 5 minute to close back higher and then take the long and put your stop loss at the low we created. And that would be a possible trade setup I'm looking at on SIDU right now.
Fantastic. It looks like there's some buyers just stepped in around 267.
Let's see. Joe's asking, suppose Netflix gets Warner Bros. Does the stock tank like the acquire stock usually does, or does it pop? I mean, it's all going to depend on market reaction, right? There's the whole joke of sell the news or buy the hype. Or no, buy.
Yeah. So how much of this is priced in is basically what you're saying, right? How much of this acquisition is actually priced in? This, again, kind of goes back to why I think that the move on this is to kind of wait for this to finalize.
Yeah.
If you think one thing is going to happen and you want to position for that accordingly, totally get it. As Kevin mentioned, have a stop in place in case your analysis is wrong. But is this priced in? Is the big acquisition priced in? If it is, then we probably don't dip any lower. But if it's not, and I don't think it is, Kevin, I'm in agreement with you. I don't think it is yet. I think we probably do initially go lower. Day Trader here says, buy the rumor, sell the news.
Yeah, he was correcting me. That's what I got wrong before. But I like I like it. I'd love to see Netflix also continue lower for a bit more leading up to the acquisition. Because remember, those big institutions, they're the ones with 95% of the volume in the market. So they want to buy it at the best opportunity. They don't want to buy at the highs and then have the acquisition hit and go even higher. They want to have Netflix sell off. They want to dump it to a great entry price because the lower we get from all-time highs, the stronger the return on investment.
Okay. Good stuff there. Market continuing to pull back here. 690 is the spot there on the SPY. NASDAQ continuing to pull back as well.
Yeah, look at that. ES came to our area of support. We mentioned that 15-minute area. So 69.75. And if we were looking at SPY, that would be around where we are right now, around the 690. So this would be, if ES can break below 69.74, I'd be careful that sellers do take some control here and bring us a lot lower. We do have some ways to run without any support below us. Other than that, again, just trading the range, buy these lows, sell the highs. I would look for buyers to hold us here and look at the reaction we're getting right off the bat. So very
Target
nice there.
Sorry. I thought you were done. Target here real quick, ticker TGT. This is actually popping on some decent volume at the moment. I'm not seeing any associated news, but part of me wonders if there's any type of a conversation happening about how holiday sales were. Anyway, Target here, this is up 3.25%. It is moving higher here on volume. Again, I don't have anything there in the news feed. Just wondering if maybe there's a headline out there about how Christmas sales or holiday
you just
sales
got a
were.
headline. You just got a headline from Financial Times. Pressure grows on Target as an activist investor builds stake.
Okay, so I don't know. That's a.
But there's also some Christmas Eve stuff about what you just said about.
I was going to say, let me see if this is behind a paywall, and indeed, that Financial Times article is behind a paywall. So I can't give that to you, unfortunately.
I might take ES longs here, guys. It would be SPY calls. Go light in size. I'm in good profits on the day off gold earlier. I would be taking ES off of 69.7850. So this zone, I'm looking for a retest of this zone. And stop loss is at the low we created. So if my analysis is wrong and we stop out, so be it. If it's right, we trade back to the top of the range. We're looking at a 5-to-1 risk to reward. So I'm staying patient on that. It did hit the zone. It did react. Could even wait for the 15 to close too. That's 9 minutes left in that. But it looks okay. Looks all right.
EKS says, if activist into Target could go much higher, I have a small tracking position at $86. So you're up pretty good on that. EKS, do you have any upside targets that you'd be looking for? Given a small position, I would imagine you'd let that run a little bit. I'm just wondering if you have any targets for that. Charlie just squawked the headline a few minutes ago. So there you go. Another big Dave, by the way, another good reason to use Squawk if you don't already.
Which ticker are we looking at right now?
That was Target. Sorry, ticker TGT.
No problem.
Yep.
Cool.
AMC new high.
AMCI, right? Yeah.
AMCI new high. Sorry. Got to remember AMC. That's not the one we want to be looking at.
Right.
I was going to say, we're not meme stalkers over here. We'll look at GME and MCE.
AMCI did break that trend line, though, 13. I'd be curious to see if this can grind and move higher or not.
Awesome, man. Good stuff. All right, let's see. Kel said he took MES in of 76 and out. We'll wait for a lower profit target. Oh, are you short ES right now? Be careful shorting the ES with how weak the VIX has been. Something to mention on the VIX right now, too. I have this blue area within this green zone, so we'll delete the green zone for now. But look at this blue zone. So every time price tested it, tried to act as support, which would bring price lower. Support, bring price lower. Then it was resistance and resistance. So if the VIX is at a resistance point, now when VIX moves lower, the ES should move higher. I want to see ES at a support point. So if ES is at support, VIX is at resistance, I want to take longs on ES, look to target that new high a day. We can take a look at the Dow just to make sure Dow is also trying to hold.
Really quickly, just a couple of things I noticed here from the unusual options. BABA, this is actually higher today by 1%. Seeing a lot of put flow into BABA right around this 151 level. That's kind of a near-term trade. And then also noticing here that Tesla continuing to hit the lows, and Netflix also saw some call buying into Netflix. Netflix actually looks like it's turning up at the moment. NFLX.
Cool. Nice. Oh, ECDA with a big drop, somebody said. Let's see.
Yeah, it's coming back down towards the trend line and VWAP. So this might be setting up for maybe a trade. I don't know.
I know. You see that 13, man, lining up with their trend line, lining up with that low volume area. I mean, this, if we didn't already have setup one, this would be an A+ setup. My opinion, when we have a great setup like this occur, markets normally won't give us a second A+ setup that same day. It's just sort of what I've seen in the past. Does it mean it's impossible? Absolutely not. We know that in markets, anything is possible. The question always becomes, is it probable?
Medline, by the way, that was our biggest IPO of 2025. We got near the end of the year. This actually has had some pretty good performance. This is holding just shy of 45. Part of me wonders if this breaks 45, if we go on another move higher here. 13, I know you said you loved medical device companies. Medline here, pretty good performance. I don't have any of this. I did trade it on IPO day, but don't have any of it here. Be curious if anyone in the group has a take on Medline.
Jeez, this thing is nothing but green candles since it IPO'd.
Yep. Here's what your daily chart looks like, by the way, that nothing but green candles.
Yeah, does look like it's slowing down though.
Awesome, guys. It looks good, man. We got some of the best streamers, man. Some of the best traders here. Guys, make sure you run the like button up. We're at 130 right now. That is beautiful. I know there's 400 at least of you in here on YouTube, so let's make sure to keep that running up.
Boom.
Love to
Here we
see
go
it.
with Citus. This is starting to turn around here. We still need to get back above the 65 EMA and this I would say 280, 285 area. This was support in the pre-market, and we're coming up and testing that as resistance now. So we need to see expansion of volume to get through this this resistance area.
All right.
See if that selling has dissipated there on Saidu.
I'd like to see this retest of ES around 69.78. Again, same with SPY. That would be SPY retest around 690.20. And I ideally want to see us hit some new higher days, right? 691 on the SPY would also be new all-time high. So just really looking to trade with that trend. We're getting the pullback now. Looks like we're testing that zone. That filled me in the longs. I do understand, though, selling pressure is strong, that we might just go right to stop loss, and that's okay, right? We want to be prepared for anything in the market. I know what my risk is. I know what my reward is. That's all that matters. And I know that if I take this trade and lose, I'm also still profitable on the day off of the gold trade we took earlier. So I am in some longs. Yeah.
No, go ahead. Finish up.
No, I was going to say I'm just in some longs on MES right now.
And that's what I was going to ask you about here. So SPY coming back in towards where it closed on Friday. I'm sorry, I'm thrown off. Where it closed there on Wednesday. If it holds this area, do you still like that trade for a move higher?
Yeah, I still like this for a move higher. SPY's area. Which area did you say on SPY?
Yeah, right around the closing price, which was right around 690.
690. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's our gap fill then. So okay, so we did hit gap fill. I mean, that's a strong area, so I would just see it as an area of support. I'd really want to see us back above it though. We see some sellers are stepping in, and it might go run to my stop, and that's fine. That is a-okay. I'm going to keep my stop loss at 69.7450. Oh no, it just wicked me out right there. It wicked me out. Small loss again. We were up 7 on the gold trade. Just took a loss for about 120, so up 570. That's where risk management is really important, guys. You can't win a trade and then end the day red, right? We have to be able to let our winners surpass our losses. I still do like it on ES down here off of this 175. I'm sorry, 69.75. So I am going to take a re-entry with a stop loss there. But guys, don't go chasing trades. Don't go forcing a profit. Also know when to call it a day, right? So very important stuff there. I do see a little support on an order flow tool I use, but I just see a lot of selling delta too. So it's really a tough point. I'd look to even be careful and stay away from the ES right now because we can break this lower. Yeah, you see that?
Yep, that's why I was asking you about this, because we came basically right into this area here. We're still higher than when the Santa Claus rally started. So I'm thinking that maybe we end up seeing a bounce here, but to your point, does look like a lot of selling on this right now.
Yeah, it's getting pretty heavy on the sell side. The cumulative volume delta for the day, which is the total buying versus selling volume, did just hit negative as well. We're just at a real strong key level of 69.75 right now. And if we're able to hold above it, I don't see why we wouldn't be able to trade back higher, especially with VIX trying to reject. But again, at this point, you know, we've sold, we were strong, we tried to come back, and we sold even stronger. So we don't want to be forcing anything. We don't want to be fighting any trends. And again, if you're in good profits on the day, there's no reason to overtrade, right? Overtrading is the killer of accounts.
Absolutely it is. And here it is. So far, SPY trying to bounce right around the 690 area. This is why we had this area highlighted here. Don't think we have enough to say, yeah, for sure we're going to bounce here. But this clearly came into a support area. We'll see if that heavy selling that you had mentioned, Kev, picks back up here and ends up breaking lower. But so far, so good. Looks like we're trying to hold this gap area and bounce.
AMCI getting support from the trend line, trying to climb higher. Dealing with a seller right now at 145. We have a high of 1164 on the day.
Okay, good eyes, 13 on that. I've been focusing here on the SPY. Indeed, great back test of that trend line that we did earlier. Let's see if we take out those recent highs there. I've got it at about 1162. Here it goes on AMCI. Boy, really good call there, 13.
I like that, man.
It was timely. It was. Do you like the Mario one up, Kev?
That's bro. I like all the sound effects. Yeah. What do you got? A soundboard or something?
Yeah, it's just my microphone interface also has a built-in soundboard there, so try to keep it fresh with some of those. SPY here, so that bound we just lost 690, so it looks like maybe the heaviness not totally out here. This seems like we're at an important spot here for the SPY if we move lower.
It's funny you say that because 689.70 is a previous all-time high.
How about that? Previous levels coming back into play. Color me shocked. 13.
It's actually the level. It was actually the all-time high prior to Christmas Eve. So now we're coming back to test that. We'll see if it holds. Beneath it, there's another previous all-time high at 688.91.
Yeah, we're really struggling. Equities are pretty weak right here too. Equities are a big hold, and equities are selling off right now. So we wouldn't look for any more longs anymore.
You know what I will say about that though, Kev? You're right about that. Here's what I would say. First of all, Bitcoin telling us it's risk off here today. That thing's been weak from the open. The VIX, which we did a good job covering earlier prior to the market opening here, that's holding steady right here at about 14.18. So while we are seeing a move lower here, the VIX not totally responding to this. It's up off of the 14 level, but it's not really picking up. Part of me wonders if this is just kind of the low volume move down that we had also talked about.
Yep, exactly. Like VIX has to have a reaction. These things can't just go in one direction forever.
That's right.
Ooh, ECDA, second entry starting to work out.
Yep. It was great call right there. That's starting to turn around. 180 looks like that's going to be the spot that we were getting resistance from that pushed us down initially towards this VWAP here. So we got to take that out on some higher volume.
Awesome, man. Cool, dude. Cool, guys. Good stuff today, everybody, man. Make sure you spam that like button. I don't think we're at 200 yet, guys. I know you guys could get us there.
Frozen here saying massive buyers in AMCI. So we just talked about that, really kind of back testing the entry zone. That looks really, really good here. Let's see if we can take out 12 with some of that buying pressure. And SPY trying to recapture 690.
It's struggling.
It's struggling is right.
Yep. It's below 689 right now. I was at 689.73. But really just struggling to find continuation lower at this point right here. I'd really be patient on something like the SPY. Even gold, at this point, it's 10.17. We had some nice movements off the open. Then we even had a little reversal around 9.45 to the downside on ES and NQ. At this point, let it play out. If we're going to reverse back to the upside, then let it reverse back to the upside instead of trying to buy the lows 40 times.
Here's a bounce clean off of the 200 EMA on the 5. That was 689.64. We basically printed that on the nose. SPY has recaptured 690 here. So just going all the way back to what Jay had said, what feels like almost 40 minutes ago at this point. Sure seems like a choppy market here today. SPY currently bouncing though.
Right off that previous all-time high.
It's trying. That's a good key level. Good job, 13.
I'm so glad that you keep a lot of those on your chart there, 13. I try not to put too many on because I don't want to muck the chart up, but I'm glad that we always have a reference point for some of those previous all-time highs because once again, we're seeing that again. Jay, we're seeing some strength in China names. That's interesting, Jay. I actually saw Baba put flows earlier. So you're saying XPEV is leading. Interesting.
Very interesting.
Very. SPY continuing its bounce now. We're above 690. See if we can get back to the VWAP. I've got that VWAP at 690.72.
Check out the 30-minute time frame. Something I like to do when I'm day trading, guys, is to keep an eye on the higher time frames, even if it's not like a 4-hour. Like look at the 30-minute, look at the 15-minute, get a bit of an understanding of those general trends. And that should also give you some insight into the general direction of the market, right? If we're looking at the S&P 500 now on the 30-minute time frame, we see this big rejection candle. We see a small body and a long upper wick. That tells us a lot of buyers who are buying at these highs ended up getting stopped or ended up reversed on, right? So because of that, a lot of times when we get a candle like this on the 30, I look for us to dump and continue. So I might actually wait for this 30-minute to close, which is in 10 minutes. And if it closes bearish, I'm going to be looking for a short position. If it closes a bit more bullish, this current 30-minute where we create a lower wick, then I'm going to stay more bullish, look to trade that range. even the hourly, small body, long upper wick, rejection candle. So this would be giving me a more bearish bias. So I really just want to be patient from here, but that's just off of the 30-minute time frame. Overall, we're still making higher highs, still making higher lows. And VIX is rejecting the level to the downside.
Yeah, that VIX did turn over there. Bitcoin actually looks like it tried to bounce very briefly. Now, to Jay's point here, here's what your XPEV chart looks like. This clearly some upside pressure there. Also, seeing some PDD call flow going on right now. So this is a China name. This one more, a little bit heavier on the technology side. This also some supporting call flow.
Awesome, man. Yeah, look at that, man. Buyers stepping back in on the ES and the SPY. Question is, will they hold? Absolutely, Sam. You got it.
I think this this news with U.S. defense firms slapped with sanctions by China over Taiwan arms sales.
We're flying.
Let's say I'm putting on my tinfoil hat right now, but that kind of speaks to me as a prerequisite to an embargo.
I like the tinfoil hat reference.
I know I'm getting way ahead of where this could go, but you got to look at what's happening with Venezuela and how that embargo is working, and it's really affecting China. Going back to what we were saying about their energy, this is what I've been wondering, how are they going to justify embargoing Taiwan? Because that's going to be, I think, one of the ways they end up trying to invade that country. This could be one such way. They embargo, and we're not going to, I don't think the international community is going to, go after China over embargoing one port, but little by little, this is their play, I think.
SPY continuing its bounce. We are going for the VWAP here, folks. 690.72. We are about to test that here. See if we can get back above that VWAP, or does this mark a rejection?
I know, right? That's what I was thinking. Either the 30 minutes going to hold and we might reject this VWAP, or
and is it back to the chop, Kev? Are we back to the chop?
We're back to the chop. Guys, get those barcodes out. We're barcoding. Red, green, red, green. Let's see. 3 minutes left on this 5. Probably like 8 minutes left on the 15. 30 minutes still has 8 minutes left as well, and the hourly. So watching those higher time frames, it's what I really want to keep an eye on. If that 30-minute, look at the current 30-minute candle. 7 minutes left. It's all the way up here, long lower wick. But 7 minutes left is plenty of time for us to dump and close back lower again. So I really want to be careful on that, right? So look, big rejection, big sell candle. This current candle we see right here is a 30-minute time frame. It closes in 7.5 minutes. It's plenty of time for this candle to absorb that wick again and close lower. So ideally, I'd want to be a little careful. We're getting a bit of selling pressure again here on ES off of VWAP. And pretty rapid selling at that.
Did not have the strength to take that VWAP.
Yep.
It's actually right at the 65 EMA on the 5. That's SPY. I can't tell. Maybe you were looking at a future sticker there. SPY right at its 65 EMA.
And ECDA and AMCI also getting support right now in the current 5-minute candle from their VWAPs.
Netflix continuing its move higher here.
Yep. Let's see Netflix. ECDA pulled back a little in that 159 zone. Netflix NFLX.
I'm thinking Netflix 95 is going to be interesting. And we're only, 60 cents away from that? So let's see what happens here at 95. SPY making another attempt to try and recapture its VWAP to the upside.
Yeah, look at that. Nice. Oh, man. Frozone.
I'll tell you what. I think if we, I know this is a long way away here, but I think if we take the highs out on SPY, we probably end up just drifting higher into the close and closing higher here today. That would be my gut feeling on what happens.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's what we've been seeing lately too with the SPY and the NASDAQ and everything, right? It's like chop, a bit of a sell-off in the morning, and then a slow grind to new all-time highs.
Bingo.
And I don't think that we've really seen the big sell-off in the morning yet, because we are about to hit that 10:30 time where the volume does drop off. So I think that the big sell-off could be coming, but then later on, these names will return.
Wow, yeah, that's massive. Massive on the ES there. Good morning, guys. What's going on, man? Make sure you guys are keeping the like button running. Last time I'll ask.
Hike the like.
Like the like.
No, hike the like. Hike it up. Get it
Hike
up there.
Don't Fed rate cut our likes, guys.
Yeah.
Don't Fed rate cut our likes. I like that, Kevin. Joe saying, Ryan, you're always citing a 1 minute chart? No, predominantly citing a 5 minute chart, and I will specify otherwise. But when I'm looking at a lot of these intraday charts, it says right there on the watermark itself, that is your 5 minute chart. XPEV getting another call here that was mentioned earlier. That was ripping to the highs. Is probably your best performing China name, or one of them. It's up 7.5% here on XPEV. Well, let's see, where are we at here on the daily chart? So we're pretty much at the bottom end of a kind of a choppy range that goes up to 24.5. See if we can take that out. Show me a paywall and I'll break it. Marcus, I got you. I got you.
Show me a paywall and I'll break it.
We had that one earlier on the Financial Times. That was a paywall. Let me see if I can find that one again. Forgot where I found that from.
They've got, it's funny. They have
It was Target.
bit of a glitch right now on your phone. If you have an iPhone, you're on a website and you're like reading an article and it has a paywall. On the iPhone, you could select like reader mode or something, and that bypasses the paywall.
Oh, that's comical, Kev. Marcus, here is a link to an article that has a paywall on it. Break away, buddy.
Break away.
I mean, he's telling me, show me a paywall and I'll break it. Challenge accepted, Kev.
Use inspect element and then delete it. Perfect.
I love some of those little tips. By the way, we talked about Target earlier that traded above the $100 level, came back in. INHD, this is one that we've traded recently. This is moving higher here on volume. I didn't have any setup for this, though.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at SIDU here. We're still battling with the VWAP on SPY, by the way. We tried to come back to it, but we have not been able to get above it.
Yep. Getting a little bit of a stall here on sellers and buyers, so I'd be patient. Really waiting for that 30 minutes to close, man. It's going to give us a bit more in depth on direction that we should be expecting going forward. 3 minutes for that 30 minutes to close to, so we do have a little time. I'd really just be patient here, see which direction we want to take.
SIDU trying to hold its lows.
Yeah, SIDU. Somebody mentioned SIDU. That was holding that level we marked out earlier pre-market.
Yep. So you're saying we found the important levels, Kev?
I'm saying we found them and then some.
Okay, good deal.
Found the best levels today, man.
Really quickly here, just kind of taking a look across the market. It does seem very slow out there. We don't have a tick lower or higher than 500. And our advance to decline line is currently minus 40. At its max, it was minus 200. So we have a very, very kind of a light, modest day here. It is choppy, but there's not a whole lot going on in terms of directional moves.
ECDA selling off beneath the VWAP, coming down to the next support level. Don't know if it's going to hold or not, but this area of support where the pre-market highs were. We kind of spent some time up here in the beginning of the regular session, about 15 minutes before we broke through it. So this is looking like a support area. We'll see if it holds.
Nice. Seeing a little selling pressure here on ES. If they fail to bring us lower, we only got a minute 40 left on the 5 minute, right? A minute 40 left. I'm looking for us to close somewhere up here now to help with the long positions. Great little move right there. Minute 30, man. That's really what I'm waiting on right now. It's plenty of time for it to close up here. Plenty of time for it to dump and go back lower. I'm just staying patient and waiting to see if we have a proper setup going forward. I see we had green coming out of this zone. We did wick below it, but we did reverse right after with some strong buying. I use a tool like Bookmap for order flow, and I saw a big buyer off of 69.75. So that's why I tried those longs earlier. It did stop me out. So I'm just sort of waiting on a possible re-entry if we can find a good reversal on that 30-minute and 15-minute. 15-minute, 57 seconds left too. I just really be patient here, guys. Silver is going to 100 soon. I see it, man. Kevin, what is the @ for your X account? Oh, yeah. So my Twitter, guys, is different from my Instagram handle. So @tradingwithkev, that is Instagram. I post short videos every day on there. And @tradewithkev is Twitter. Not too active on there. I do try to be. But you guys can check me out there. And if you want to trade with me every day, I trade with the community at bullishbears.com. But I do love these live streams with you guys here in the Benzinga community as well. Always a pleasure, guys. Always great. 13, what are we looking at? You in anything at the moment?
Just Saidu.
Okay, cool.
See how that goes. Nothing else really is looking too interesting to me, although Hi-Ho did recapture the 65 EMA. Very low volume. I'm not particularly interested in these low volume names at the moment. We are at that point now where volume leaves the market. So I got my stop on Saidu, and if that doesn't work, then I'm done for the day.
Nice. Cool, man. Cool. I know I like Saidu down here off that 270 stop, like 260, 250. Here we go. Did the 30-minute close? 30-minute closed. Did close more in our favor that I was looking for. A nice big wick to the downside. It is giving me more of a chop narrative, so I would be careful. I look to trade with the trend. Trend is currently still bullish. VIX is moving lower too, which is great. So VIX moving lower. I want to see VIX at new low of day, while ES tries to make a run for new high of day. The Dow is also, yeah.
I was going to say, I know you're talking about the ES. SPY took its VWAP.
Yep.
Just saying. Yep. Maybe you get that, Kev.
Yeah, no, it's getting there. It's getting there. The futures are also above their VWAP too. I'd just be careful at this point. A lot of people might chase some longs up here, so we might be in for a pullback. But let's just wait, see how markets want to play out. We had a nice sell-off from 9:45 to about 10:15. Since then, we found some buying and have reversed. Let's see.
SPY here looking all right. Again, this is all on low volume, so I don't want to get too excited here. We talked a lot about the chop. That's absolutely what it's been. Santa rally absolutely in effect here today. And Kev, taking a look at the SPY chart here, you said you wanted this to print new highs, right? You wanted to see a new day low print in the VIX, new print higher in the SPY?
Yep, new low day was just printed on VIX. High day needs to be taken on SPY. My issue is SPY isn't at new high of day, and VIX is at new low of day. So that's a bit of divergence. So that tells me there's a bit of a lack of understanding in the market, right? Where sellers might be trying to take in, but the volume or the buyers are still trying to take us higher.
And that leads to our chop that we're seeing, right? That sounds exactly like what we're actually seeing here.
Exactly. So until one of those sides fails, right, and the other one takes over, we're not too sure. VIX is leaning more bearish. This down here, this bottom chart is I call it the weighted index. So it's the S&P, it's top 5 holdings of the S&P and NASDAQ. So Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia, Amazon, and Meta. And this ticker, this chart alone, measures those stocks and gives me an idea if they have strength or if they have weakness. Now, I use this to sort of help gauge, are we strong or weak on the NASDAQ? And same with the S&P 500. We're rejecting at a key level at 69.86 on the ES. SPY, that would be around, I don't have my SPY chart up right now, but ideally it's the high that we just created on SPY. CVD's still been trying to hold bullish. I'd really like to see, we have 2 minutes left in this 5-minute. I'd like to see this 5-minute start to turn around and go back green. Without that, I think we might head towards like 69.79 down here. I want to see these higher lows hold. I do want to see us go make new highs. VIX made a new low of day. How's the Dow doing? Dow's struggling a little bit here too. Gold is flying, man. That was nice this morning. I don't know if you guys remember, but we took gold this morning right off this zone, 5-1. I cut it for a 3-1, but still overall fantastic trade. Great way to get into Friday. Great way to trade back the day after Christmas. That's what it's about.
Silver also at the pre-market highs. So I was just looking at SLV here on some of those metals. I know that there was a pretty huge spread and huge gap this morning. Here's what SLV looks like. Looks like this wants to roll higher here. All-time highs this year amid demand outlook due to uses in solar panels, data centers, EVs, as well as a safe haven demand.
Beautiful. I need to see ES and SPY head towards that recent 5-minute high again. We're back green on that candle, like I said I was looking for us to continue here. So again, ideally, I'd like to see us head towards new high a day, with VIX also continuing lower.
Here's what your SPY chart looks like. We are holding above the VWAP. Next stop, if we can continue to hold this, and that's not a guarantee, 91.5 I'd like to see here. So another 70 cents higher.
Nothing's guaranteed in this market.
That's right. Or in life, Kev.
That's right. That's right.
So because of that, how about you smash up the like for all of the free stuff that we give here on a regular basis. Again, Kev, I know this is the last show of the year here for this channel. We're going to be back in January 5th of next year. Appreciate you taking the time to hop on with us here today and kind of go over what you're seeing here. Really good stuff. I know it's been kind of slow and choppy, but we were still able to get some stuff nailed down. You love that.
Yeah, that's the big thing there, Line, with the silver mines. There's no surface mining anymore. It's all deep mining, which is even more expensive. So scarcity increases.
Yeah. All right. SPY trying to break here. Come on, SPY. ES VIX new low today. We need to see a strong squeeze here on the SPY. Dow is trying to move higher too. NASDAQ's trying to move higher. NVIDIA's close to new high today. That's a great sign. Google is struggling a bit. So again, here's that sort of 50-50 where equities are some are bearish, some are bullish. If you are in longs, I'd probably even look to take profit up here. Let's see. Somewhere up near the previous day high. And again, mainly because of the imbalance we have where the VIX is making that new low, ES is not making a new high. A lot of times we like to see those trade together to give us confluence. When one's doing one and one's doing the other, we want to be extra careful.
Rocket Lab, this continues to move to the lows here. Rocket Lab having a pullback after a pretty decent week last week. Look at this chart here on Rocket Lab. We'll see if 70. What do you have? 13, sorry?
Oh, yeah, I was saying absolutely. This thing needed to pull back. It had a fantastic run past couple of weeks. And yeah, I think 70 is where we want to see this hold up. Keep pointing back to October where it was spending all this time trying to get and close above 70, couldn't do it. And we ended up selling off. So now that we've broken through 70 and we're coming back down to test it as support, that's where I wanted to find that support is right in that 70 area.
And here's your SIDU, by the way, this coming up to that 65 EMA at 286. We'll see if SIDU can break that and maybe move towards the high end of today's range.
Need more supply. I'm sorry, need more volume to get through the supply that we had here in the pre-market. It's great to see that we're trying to chew through that right now, but I'm not sure that this is going to be enough.
So you basically need some more buying volume. You can clearly see on the chart we've been compressing since the open.
Yeah. Guys, SIDU also right off of that area of interest we were looking for an entry today. That's pretty cool, guys. That's two great setups. ECDA
and SIDU. Yep.
That's what we do here, guys. Let's see. Great stuff. Great stuff. Yeah, SIDU with some strength coming out of 270s.
AMC is down to its VWAP right now. MCI is down to its VWAP right now, trying to get some support there, but be careful. I don't know if it's going to hold up.
Yeah.
We're in this low volume environment right now where, we might not get these the follow through on these moves we're looking at here. So I don't have any more SIDU. I said, I think I'm pretty good right here. I don't know how long it's going to take to get through this sideways consolidation. Maybe it goes pretty soon. Maybe it doesn't. I'm not going to stick around to find out. I've had a good day already.
Yeah, no, it's not. We don't want to be jumping in and hoping, right? Hope isn't a strategy.
Yep.
And it does look like it's battling right here to that point. So maybe it ends up running into some resistance here. Excuse me. We'll see, though. We'll see about that 65 EMA. 286 looks to be a key level. That's right where SIDU is at the moment. Tesla, by the way, continuing to pound lows. I'm actually seeing, interestingly enough, I'm seeing some mixed call flow into this. I'm seeing some buying and some selling. So calls and puts into this move here. Here's what Tesla looks like. This took out the intraday low from Wednesday. Tesla's also been on kind of a move up. I know we saw this the last week or two here. We saw some positioning in the 500 calls for the end of the year. Looks like we basically got just shy of that and we've stopped. We'll see what next week brings here with Tesla. I would imagine there's still plenty in the open interest there. But Tesla here pulling back, and this is down 2% here today.
Beautiful.
No Anne-Marie today. We will have Sandy coming up in just about 20 minutes.
Nice.
Here's something you could do with Tesla that might make this a little bit more interesting. If you start with the low from the April 7th Liberation Day unwind, and you draw a trend line up through all the lows, including the one from November 21st, I think that this is going to be the trend line to watch for. I don't know that we'll get support from the 20-day SMA. Maybe we will. Don't know if we'll get support from the 50-day SMA. But if we come down here to this trend line, I think we're going to have all eyes on this level right here.
Okay, I went ahead and added that trend line to the chart. 13. We will keep our eyes on that. Tom says I'm going to have Benzinga withdrawal next week without you guys gone. Well, you know what? Use that time to spend it with your family. We're going to be back. We're going to be back and better than ever, as they say.
That's right. That's awesome, man. Excited, man. Who's excited for 2026, guys?
I am. I'm always looking up, Kev. I'm a glass half full, always looking up type guy, so I am always looking forward to the future.
Good. That's what I was thinking.
And by the way, really quickly here, 13, guess what? As soon as you took that Saidu position off, look what we did. We rolled back over from that resistance area.
Not my fault.
Just
Clearly.
Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing with these supply and demand zones, if the volume's not there, then I really get concerned about the move through them not happening. They could still happen. It's still a possibility that somebody comes in with some size and takes that out. But, we are at that time of day where volume has left the market and, there's not as many butts and seats trading. So it just seemed like a good idea to not try it and stick around in this thing in case it did this.
Yep. Awesome, man.
Lion here saying Ryan does not look excited today. Lion, you could not be more wrong about that. I am happy and excited, and also excited for the weekend. Day Trader, this is interesting. For your new format, the kids are saying having a visible mic in your stream will help your short videos with the algo.
That's what I do in my short videos.
So you're saying I got to do this now?
Yes, sir.
No, what? Okay, so this is I don't Day Trader. Is this like a for real thing? Is this like a TikTok thing? Is this a troll thing? I'm asking honestly. I am actually going to work on setting up a new camera, so maybe I will try and adjust the angle so that it captures something like getting my microphone in there. Maybe we'll try that, Day Trader.
That's interesting because I've always wondered, like, why are so many people doing that? And I kind of, in my mind, I'm thinking this is a little silly. Like, oh, hey, look, I'm a podcaster.
It gives the aesthetics that you're watching a podcast.
Yeah, I guess, but I just maybe it's just my opinion. I thought it was silly to have part of your view eaten up with a microphone.
Yeah. Now some of them I've seen like those RGB mics. Maybe that's maybe that kind of messes with the algo. We'll see though.
I'm gonna get some stickers and put it on my mic so you can see, hey, what's gonna be the new sticker of the day?
Day Trader says it's an X thing. Frozen King says you gotta flex your mic. Yassine suggests that we beatbox the stock movers like Rozelle back in the day.
Pass.
Yeah, Yassine, I'll tell you this. If I thought I could even beatbox a little bit, I might try it just for the lulls, but I don't think I could do that for you, man. I'm sorry to let you down. Yes, that girl says, hey, Ryan. Hello, yes, that girl. Merry Christmas. Just popping in for a sec to say thank you to the Benzinga crew for all you do. The growth with you is amazing. Looking forward to being back and better than ever with y'all in 2026. Amen to that. Amen to that. If we have helped at all, that makes it all worth it. I think I speak for the two gentlemen here with me. If we have helped you, that makes it absolutely worth it.
That's right. That's right.
Ryan says, I've seen people have a photoshopped mic or fake background with a mic on it.
That's hilarious.
I mean, that seems a bit over the top, don't you think?
Sounds a little bit. That is so funny. I've seen people with a fake background. I get if you got to throw a green screen on there. This is a green screen.
I was going to say, but I, you know what, Kev? I don't see a mic on your green screen. I see our company logo and a beautiful vista behind you.
I got a real mic.
There you go.
I guess that was the right call with Sinus.
Yeah, that was definitely the right. I have it on the screen here because the call has been so on.
Nice, guys. Nice. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Hey, good mention there. Frozen King, what's your Ondas for 2026?
That's a good question. So I think what you're asking for is my next stock pick that might go 10x from 50 cents. Yeah, if I had one that I felt really good about here, I'd feel pretty good. I just for the record, full disclosure, I am holding Ondas into 2026. I have a long-term view on this. I do think 2026 is going to be better. Also, just to reiterate, IDAI is another one that I'm looking forward to in 2026. We've discussed this with the authentication verification theme. We also had YOU in there. 13 did a great job covering that one as well. I have a little bit of that, but not as much as IDAI. I also really like mergers and acquisitions again. So one of the things I'm going to be looking for 2026, this is not a 50-cent stock, so I'm sorry about that. But one of the things I'm looking into is Goldman Sachs. Is that going to make a good long-term trade in 2026? That Morgan Stanley, I think just given we're going to have OpenAI, Databricks, SpaceX, a ton of gigantic companies coming to market. Got to think the investment banking stocks do well for that. Yeah, sorry, I don't really have a penny stock that I think is going to 10x yet. I'm always on the lookout for that. I do have a couple of low price stocks that I think eventually are going to do well. I am building a very small position in CGC. I'm building a small position in Telomere, TELO, but none of these have the conviction that I had on Ondas. That was a long time coming.
Let's do this. We are going to be off for a little while. So if you folks need something to do while we're gone, put together a watch list that have stocks within the themes that we've been discussing going into the end of the year here. So we could see some space names. We see some of these mineral names come back. We've discussed a lot of consumer-facing, themes that might get more attention since this year was the year of AI, and that got all the attention. So I would start with the themes that we've discussed and try to find some smaller names in there. And that's what we end up getting, because when we come back next year, we're going to have a whole bunch of stuff to look through if you guys do that.
Nice. Awesome, guys. Look at that, man. You guys are getting homework today, too.
Yeah.
But does the homework ever really end, Kev? Like, how many times are you? Yeah, see, you were quick to answer that. How many times are you not at your computer where you're either thinking or reading or talking to somebody about something market related? Those wheels never seem to stop turning, at least on my end.
No, they just keep going. They just keep
going.
They get a little tiring, Ryan, but it's okay. It's fun.
And I don't want everybody to think that this is work they have to do. Let's look at it in terms of extra credit. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's do some extra credit over the
extra
holidays.
credit leads to extra gains, and that's something that we'll definitely take. Kevin, I appreciate you all year here. Kevin, been a big supporter of what we do here on the program. Really thank all of the Twitter viewers for joining us here. Ryan, 13, and Kevin, thanks so much, guys. Hope you have a great rest of your Friday and an awesome weekend. I promise you I will. Wishing you all a wonderful and happy new year. Right back at you, and everyone else that's joining us here today. Looking forward to having you back next year. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Indeed, we will be back, and we will continue to try and bring the awesome content that you guys expect.
Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate that.
What's that?
Oh, it's that was Kevin Robinson, not you, Kevin. The other Kevin.
Look,
Kevin.
if it's Kevin, I don't care if it's Kevin Robinson, Kevin from our show, or Kevin from Home Alone. If it's a Kevin, it's a good one, especially right now. Brent, we will take the blame for this one. Brent here said, "Man, fella, I didn't know you were doing a show today. I look for you guys. I missed the whole show." Kevin, we did mention that we were doing a show. Kevin, geez, look how screwed up I'm getting. Brent, we did mention we were doing a show here today. We actually had a little problem with the listing. It was unlisted for a little bit. We'll take the blame for that. Sorry about that, boss. But remember, January 5th is when we'll be back here. Mark it on your calendar.
Beautiful.
Have a great day.
Ryan, take care of yourself.
Happy New Year, Zach.
We expected muted volume all day today. We're getting that again here, Lion. I think it's time to start your weekend early, boss.
Yeah, but we found what was moving. We traded it. We did good.
Yep. That's right. That's right. We did good today, guys. Great setups, great trades, great areas. ECDA. I want to come back and check ECDA one more time.
Yeah, let me put your chart up here.
Yeah. So look at that, man. Let's see what I said. We reacted off of it, but we failed, right? Markets already gave us that A+ setup on ECDA down here. So the next setup, it ended up failing. Really great stuff overall. ECDA, we had entry around 110, target of 150, and it just completely soared to 194. So it doesn't get much better than that in terms of price action and getting our entry and getting some take profits. Great risks or reward. Even if you let it ride, even better risks or reward. And just make sure that, guys, whatever trade you take, not that you're taking it to lose, but you're taking it and you're prepared to lose. You're not here to win every trade. No trader wins every trade, but every trader that's successful has a good risk management system. And that's the difference between the consistent and inconsistent traders.
And if you keep those losses small, you can let those winners run, and you can really chip at that consistency, Kevin, that you were just talking about.
That's right. That's right. Massive right there. Let's see.
Real quick here. Chris is saying, what will I do without you guys next week? Well, just as a reminder here, if you join Benzinga Pro, the happy hour channel and all of the other chat channels will be going next week, despite us not having a show. So you can always keep up with 13, myself, and everyone else that you want by joining the Benzinga Pro ecosystem. But again, it's okay to take some time off, reset the mental, spend some time with your family. We'll be back on January 5th. Day Trader here. Thanks for an awesome show, guys. I wish you the best in the new format. I really have enjoyed this format, and I wish I could have participated even more, but my day job got in the way. I'll miss this format. It's okay. I think that, when we talk about change here, we talk about 13 and I have discussed this quite a bit here. We definitely don't want to just have a big surprise one day. We'd rather just inform you and keep you guys posted. But I really do think that there's going to be a lot of carryover. It's not going to look all that different, just maybe a little bit more structure and a little bit shorter. So there'll be plenty of time for you. I don't want you to trade your day job for this. Just throwing that one out there. But I think there will be plenty of time to participate going forward. And as always, we always want to hear communal ideas. That's why, Kev, I'm glad you were available to join. I know this is the Christmas holiday, but I'm glad you were able to join on here today. Give us some more ideas. 13, you're never short for ideas. So we want to hear them from the community. We want to keep doing that. That's going to be a big part of what we do going forward.
Oh, Nick, I got a good answer for you on that. The beard will grow as long as the Packers season stays intact. So when they're knocked out of the playoffs, then this comes up.
And you're going to shave when the Packers lose?
I don't know if I'll shave, but I'm going to take it down.
Okay. Look, this was news to me too. I didn't know this was happening.
I still keep secrets from everybody.
Got to keep you guys on your toes.
That'd be fun. 13, it'd be fun if you just showed up one day and it's just clean shaven, maybe like a collared shirt with a tie, or just something completely
but then they'll be checking the scores.
It'll look like me. I'll just pull up and I'll have 13 on my name tag and be like, look, guys, I shaved.
Yeah.
Tom says he's going to send 13 a new razor.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to need some clippers first, but I got some. If the Packers win the next 10 Super Bowl, I'm going to be like I'll have a long beard at that point.
Bigfoot.
Please don't make me throw up, guys. I'm trying to enjoy my Friday.
That's great. What's up, Tom?
Actually, Crimp Biscuit, 13 and I did not have a Bears-Packers bet.
It's not a bet. It's I didn't tell him about what I would be willing to do, but it's just I'll have to tell you about it later, Ryan.
Let's do it. Look, it's Friday. If you wait till like 6, 7 p.m., I'll have a glass of red down, and I'll be even a little bit looser. So maybe call me then.
Okay.
What time we got to wait for? We'll see if anybody in the comments gets that reference. Around 6, 7?
I didn't even Kev. But you know what? One up for Kevin. I wasn't even trying to do that, Kevin. Great job, dude.
There we go.
That was money.
We just lost all the Gen Z viewership.
No, we just gained all the Gen Z viewership. That's funny.
Cam says, Ryan, can I send you a pic of my neighbor's bear-themed Santa? Yes, you can. Okay. As a matter of fact, you want to send me anything car, trading, Santa, or bears related? Here is my email. That puts a smile on my face every day.
Is it
make sure I spelled it right there.
Is it hibernating? Just a bear sleeping with the Santa outfit? Happy New Year, Len. Whoever loses shaves their head.
I will say I love 13 to death. I love you guys and I love this show. But there is no chance I would ever shave my head. You will have to kill me, strap me down, and then physically shave it to ever see that. Good luck. Good luck. No chance I would ever do that.
I've done it before. Just someone to see what I looked like with just facial hair and I looked a little mean until I smiled. Then I looked like a goof. I thought that was funny, but it was, one-time thing. Challenge accepted? Sure, why not?
Staff Sergeant Ryan. That's not someone I want to be in a dark alley with. I'll tell you that much.
We'll update
Or do
on
you?
Sandy.
No, because he is actually like trained. He would probably pin me down and shake my head.
Oh,
I
see
don't
what you're
want
saying.
that.
I was going to say, that's
don't
the kind of guy.
want
That's the kind of guy I would want to have in a dark alley with me.
On your side.
Exactly. No, we are not, Jane. We're going to go through program changes, and then when we start next year, we'll have the new format.
We're gonna do a full Kevin segment, a full Ryan segment, full 13 segment. We'll get everybody going.
Yeah, so next week, guys, just to be clear here, I know we've talked about it quite a bit, but just to be clear here, we will be airing rerun content next week. The producer, the people that work behind the scenes, they also need some time to do some of the improvements. This coincided with the end of the year, slow market, and as well as paid time off. So no show next week. We'll be back better than ever, January 5th.
Jane said, "Who authorized this time off?" I know, right?
That is a real thing, though. I mean, like, here's the thing: like, when you get in the routine, Kevin, I don't know about you, Kevin, and 13. Are you guys routine based? Like, when you get into a routine, is it easier for you to keep it going and everything? Like, to me, if I want to do something every day, I need to build a routine around it. This works with trading. This works with exercise. This works with anything in life. I am structured in the sense that I need to build a routine about it. This show, this morning interaction with people that have varying opinions and see different things, this has become part of my routine. And despite taking PTO, I'm definitely going to miss you guys too. And my routine will be altered for all of that. But again, I stress, we are coming back. We are coming back. I almost never take a day off. Yeah, day trader, I actually needed to spell check vacation because I'm not sure what it means or how it's spelled.
It feels weird when you come back from breaking a routine. I'll say that. But yeah, this has become more of a routine. When you hear the alarm when you're waking up and you get up and you start getting your whole morning process going, the routine just kind of falls into place.
Yep, absolutely. Guys, it's been a great show today. I think,
it has.
We have a little update on Sandy today, Ryan, if you want to check the private chat.
So I had said this was my fault too. I had said earlier we are going to have Sandy again with the holidays here. I jumped the gun. So our show is actually going to be ending here in about 3 minutes. No Sandy this week. She too is coming back though.
It's up to the viewers. I don't know if we have enough people in here. And again, it's up to the producer and you guys as well. If you guys want, I could stick around for a few minutes to cover some volume profile, how to use volume profile, the settings of it. I know there were a lot of questions in the chat. Guys, let me know in the chat if you're interested. Ryan, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, go ahead. Run through it. You got your screen up here. We got a couple of minutes left. Definitely run through it here. Real quick, America, Ryan just said happy hour will be on while they are off. No, there is no happy hour show either, but the happy hour chat room in Pro is open 24/7. That for sure will have some more stuff on.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Good stuff, guys. Yeah, all right. You guys want some volume profile? We can do it for sure.
Kev.
Let's do it. So we're going to do, guys, for this volume profile analysis, I'm going to show you guys how I use the volume profile, the settings I use, how I use it for entries. But for this example, I'm also going to be showing you guys how we found this trade on ECDA today. So going to be great. Good little rundown. So this is where we were looking at ECDA. Here's 9 o'clock. We were around $1.20. And the first thing I always like to do is just to get an idea of general trend, right? Are we creating higher highs? Are we creating higher lows? Well, off the past few days of price action, I see that we're trying to break higher. Okay, well, if we're breaking higher, something that we want to know as traders too is there volume behind it? If there's not volume behind it, there shouldn't be continuation. So what do we use to see if there's volume behind it? Well, we don't use the volume down here. The volume down here only tells us how much volume was transacted during that time frame, during that individual candle. The volume we want to look at is volume by price. That's where our volume profile comes in. So I'm going to put it at the beginning of the very big move. And we saw right off the bat, or where were we? Maybe over here. There we go. This is what we saw. Beginning of the move, big move happened. We had a large volume to the upside, low volume imbalance. Sure thing. and a lot of volume to the downside. This imbalance area, right? Think of it like markets are trying to elevate or maintain themselves. Volume normally is heavy, heavy. So if we're very low, markets, volume, institutions, however you want to phrase it, are going to try to bring this volume back higher to here as well. So we saw an ECDA, and another thing as well, we had a Fibonacci, but I'm not going to show you guys that just now. So once price started to return on ECDA, look at the volume, look at still a low volume significance right there. And as soon as we wicked in, look at the amount of volume that came in. Came in extremely strong right there. Yep, absolutely. We'll wrap it up around 11 for today's stream, guys. So this is where the buyer stepped in. That's how I found that low volume area with the volume profile. And once we get a reaction, let's say you don't trust the zone or you want to wait just a little extra longer, instead of taking it as soon as we test that area, you could even look for us to close, right? Like a 5-minute close is green outside of it. That's showing me we're reacting. Put your stop loss at the low or wherever your analysis is incorrect. Have your target of the high, because remember, we're not looking for a huge, massive trade. We're just looking to make higher highs have been forming, so that should continue, and higher lows are forming. So that should also continue. We're just simply trading with the trend and not asking so much of the market. And this one just completely went to the upside. Great trade setup there. I'm going to show you guys real quick the settings I have on this is the anchored volume profile. So on the left-hand side over here, under the projections, you're going to come down to anchored volume profile. It's anchored because wherever you start it is where it starts, and it will constantly update of information. The settings I use, when you do put it on your chart, it'll have it as up and down. I like to use it as total, so it gives me an idea of the total volume, and I look for those volume imbalances. Row size is going to vary based on the stock you're looking at. You might need row size of 5, which is huge. You might need row size of 50, which is a lot smaller. That depends on the ATR of the stock you're trading. Right now, ECDA is at $1.50. If you were looking at NQ, you might need something that's a bit bigger of a row size because it's at 25,000. All right, guys. Okay. That's it on the market profile, volume profile. I appreciate you guys giving me that minute to just cover that for the viewers.
It's no problem, Kev. Look, we appreciate you joining us here and hopping on. Happy New Year to you. It was a great year in 2025. Looking forward to a great year in 2026. 13, Happy New Year to you. We'll see what happens with the beard. Any closing words for the group here?
Well, Happy New Year to you, Kevin, and to you, Ryan. I look forward to seeing what 2026 holds for everybody. I'm glad that everybody that's joined us throughout 2025 has been able to stick around and learn and trade with us. I really value all your presence and everything that you bring to our chat. You make this community what it is, and I look forward to seeing what we end up getting next year. It's going to be a fun time. I look forward to it. Folks, have a wonderful rest of your 2025, a happy new year, and I will see you in 2026.
All right, 13, take care. Kevin, happy new year, boss. We will see you again in 2026.
See you next year. Take care, everybody.
All right, for Kevin and 13, I'm Ryan. Stay green, stay safe, stay focused. Happy holidays, happy new year. We will be back Monday, January 5th. We'll see you then. Take care.